This is the Big O Show. 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 This
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and there are the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. I gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. Cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. See, getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayum is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayum, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayum can help.
I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Alrighty. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome aboard to the show. You feeling good? I'm feeling good because I'm off tomorrow. What? For real? Oh, God. Damn. Damn, the audio wasn't on. I don't know if I got another one of those screeches in me. That's it. I got one in the morning. That's all I got. Whew. Damn. All right. Good morning, everybody, says Steve Chapman. Good morning to you, Steve, and everybody on the chat board. Thank you all out there. Thank you all for tuning in. We are ready to go on a beautiful Wednesday. Got a bunch of things to talk about. Obviously, a little Hard Knocks yesterday, which was so cool. It was good to see the Dolphins. Give me more Dolphins, man. The more Dolphins you give me, the better my life is. It's just
Kind of, even if they lose over the years, I still come back for more. It doesn't matter. Heartbreak in the playoffs, I'm back for more. Eventually, I will be happy one day, and maybe this season will be the season that I'm happy at the end with a championship, which would be really, really nice. But anyway, so we'll get into Hard Knocks. Anthony Chang is going to stop by with our BaptistHealth.net/Ortho Miami Heat report. The Heat are back in action tonight against the Cavs. They are favored by 2 on the road. Matt Verderame will stop by at 11. Got a lot of things to talk about with Matt. Joe Shad will join us at 11:45. That is the show today. Tomorrow we are off. Okay? We'll take it off. He's going to relax with the family. I'm going to relax with the family. Watch a little football. Watch the Packers, Lions, Commanders, Cowboys, Niners, and Seahawks, and try to stay up because of all that tryptophan in my body, which is going to be bringing me down. Because you're going to feel tired. And that third game is the challenge. Depending on how much turkey you've had. Woo, doggy. That thing starts to, sit in. And if the Niners-Seahawks game becomes like a bore fest, I can see myself falling asleep on that couch, bro. Napping out for a couple minutes, waking up, okay, and I feel revitalized now. You get that 10, 15-minute nap, and you're like, whoa, I'm energized, that kind of stuff. So tomorrow we will be off. Then Friday, Sean and I are back at 1 o'clock to get you ready for the 3 o'clock game. David Furones, by the way, will join us in the pregame show, and he's going to join us in the postgame show. All right? So we'll have a little fun with that, and that's it. And Saturday and Sunday, we're off. You will get nothing unless there's some kind of big-time breaking news, and we haven't really had that with the Dolphins in a while, big-time breaking news. So outside of that, unless the Heat make a move or something, I don't know. Panthers, right? Patrick Kane. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know if you were in the car already when Paul Maurice was on with Joe this morning.
No.
That dude is very likable.
Oh, Maurice.
Yes.
Oh,
I
God,
mean,
yes.
Because Joe even asked him, he's like, look, I don't know about that specific thing, but a lot of veteran players want to go to a place where they can win. And now, he goes, the thing I like about it now is the Florida Panthers are considered not just a destination because, hey, you get to play in Miami, in Fort Lauderdale, Miami, however you want to look at it. But now it's a destination for people that want to win. And so it was just, he was very open on all the answers. Just very likable guy. He didn't do a lot of coach talk.
Hockey is like that. They're very more normal.
Maybe that's what I don't listen to a lot of press conferences. Hockey. Maybe that's just the thing.
Yeah,
I don't really.
Yeah. Hockey players and hockey coaches, they're way more down to earth and way more honest than anything you'll get in pro sports. They're a different breed. They're just different, dude. They're just a pleasure to cover. Really, all the time. Hockey is just salt of the earth human beings. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good people in other sports, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing like hockey. Overall, in general, the dudes are just superior. That's just the way it is. There's any of us that have been in the business and have covered all sports, okay? Somebody that's only been a one sport, writer or whatever, you can't ask them. But people like me and others that have covered all beats, they'll tell you hockey people, owner, general manager, coach, player, it just doesn't matter. They're just cut from a completely different cloth, overall. So, yeah. It is what it is, but I'm not surprised. Paul Maurice is very likable, and tonight they take on the Bruins. Man, tonight we got some sports, dude. Panthers and Bruins at 7 o'clock. Heat and Cavs at 7:30. That is some awesome, awesome stuff. Tomorrow we got 3 football games. Friday we've got our own football game with the Dolphins and the Jets, and we'll get you ready for it right here on the platform. Safedine will join us post-game along with David Furones, but since it's kind of an odd week, Furones will join us also pregame and postgame. So we'll get him after the inactives. So right around 2:30, we'll get him. So we'll get him in that last half hour. We'll have the inactives. We'll go over the news of the inactives. David will give us a feeling for what's going on in the game. So we'll have a feel. He's there in New York. So we'll have two guys handling everything Dolphins pre and post game for you guys here on the platform. So we'll be set, ready to go. Yes, sir.
I just want to say, even though the Dolphins play at 3, you still got the Canes BC at noon.
Yes.
And then the Heat are at 7:30, I believe.
Yes. And I will talk to Manny today, and I'll have Manny call in during the pregame show to give us a little report. Although the game may not be over by then. You know what? We'll have Manny wait till postgame, and we'll have him call in the postgame show to give us a quick Canes report. And then that way we can separate that later on and put it on the site so people have a post-game report from Manny. I'll talk to Manny, and we'll get a Canes post-game report during the Dolphins post-game report from Manny. And that way at least you guys will be in tune with everything going on, and Manny will give us, the latest from the end of the season for the Canes. Sorry, but I already took Boston College. I'm not passing up easy money, dude. I'm not going to be rooting against the Canes, but there's no way they're beating Boston College by 9. I don't think they're capable of beating anybody in the ACC by 9. I really don't. Not at all. Let's get to a little roll call. Steve Chapman is in the house. Says he's taking the day off from work to spend with the family. Catch you on all on Friday for a Dolphins win. Happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you, Steve. Zuko is in. Alexis Palenzuela, Gordon Shumway, Willie out in Colombia. Let's see. Sean Stanley and Big O, please rub your beautiful nipples on Friday after a Fins win. We will. We will do it just for you, Willie. Ray Sosa is in. Skylar Timpton. Morning, how awesome was Hard Knocks? It was better than I ever thought it would be. So cool seeing the team in that light. I'm going to get to it now when right after roll call here. Drago in. Steven Gonzalez. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Christopher Escobedo. Salute, Biggie. Can't wait for MetLife takeover and looking forward to going to Slattery's Midtown Pub. Horn Dog is in. Hunter Butler, after that first episode, Mike McDaniel looks like the real deal. Let's see if he's able to adapt and learn. Nizzle is in. Yo, Rosendo. Thank you for coming by yesterday, Rosendo. Give thanks for blessings and the privilege of living as a free man in a country which respects our freedom and our personal rights to worship and to think and speak as we choose. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Anyway, let's get to a little Hard Knocks before we get to Anthony Chang and a little Miami Heat. I enjoyed it yesterday. I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest Hard Knocks I've ever seen, but it is the greatest Hard Knocks because it has the Dolphins on it. So, anything with the Dolphins is the greatest, of course. You know how it is. Mike McDaniel was fun. Effing Mike McDaniel. Okay? Effing Mike McDaniel. That's what we got to call him now. Because obviously the Mike McDaniel you get on the podium is not the Mike McDaniel that's behind the scenes dropping an F-bomb in every 5 words that he's, huh? Yeah, total potty mouth. Yes. Yeah, he swears like a sailor. There's no doubt about that. Really enjoyed it. It was cool. The offensive line meeting, the dinners, I think that is priceless. That kind of stuff is awesome. The Campanile stuff, very cliche. That's
I got to tell you, that's the part I was least impressed with. Okay? Every team has a bunch of those coaches that are mother effing everything and they want to tear down the world. And, I've been at this for 30 years. So that speech for me, and I would imagine for players, it's not that big a deal because they hear it at all levels, from all different, from their little league coach to their high school coach to college to the NFL. They've heard these speeches all the time. So for me, I got some reactions from some of you guys. Oh, did you see Campanile or Campanile, whatever it's pronounced? And all the F bombs and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it just did not do much for me, to be quite honest. I was much more impressed with the way Tua handles himself, assuming responsibility for playing poorly. That stood out to me. The offensive line meeting, that stood out to me. Watching Mike McDaniel communicate with guys and the positive reinforcement, or trying to hammer away a point, but the way he does it in a very, respectful and communicative fashion, if that's a word. There were a bunch of things that I loved about it yesterday. I can tell you that. The Campanile thing is I can do without that phoniness. You know what I mean? Because that rah bullshit goes on in every locker room with every coaching staff. And there's always a couple of those super intense guys I want to, talk up, whatever. That to me is nothing. But there was a lot of substance behind it. Couple other notes. Let me see. The two of Max Crosby stuff. I will say this. I forgot the name of the player that was acting like Max Crosby. Yeah, linebacker on the practice squad. But it was still kind of an odd practice in a way. And I thought he should have harassed Tua a little bit harder, to be quite honest. I see the coach commending him, making it look like it's kind of real. But I'm like, I would have liked him to bother Tua even more. You know what I mean? To get a little bit more closer to what Max Crosby is going to be. But yeah, and then Tyreek hurts his hand, and he's worried about Fortnite.
Man, I ain't gonna be able to play Fortnite tonight. They're asking if you go back in. He's like, I can't play Fortnite.
That's freaking hilarious. And on Nacho Gate.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. First of all, is it Tyreek's wife or girlfriend?
They got married, right? They just got married. During
wife.
the off week. So by then, I guess that would be his wife because that was Raiders game.
Okay, yes. Tyreek's wife. Give that woman a gold freaking medal. She is the gold standard on how to handle a really tough, uncomfortable situation. Because when she knocks the nachos on herself, okay, she probably doesn't realize she knocked the nachos on herself at that moment. Maybe she didn't realize it until she actually watched the video. Because it's really not the guy's fault. The guy, some idiot on Twitter, oh, well, that guy's jumping up and down. He did not jump up and down. He just stood up very calmly, and then she reached up and actually hit it. And, whatever, it fell, and the poor guy was in a terrible situation. But let me tell you, she could have easily, like a lot of women, whatever, might have lost it, right? I gotta say, she handled it with the most class you could possibly handle a situation like that. I could not give her more props for that, because I don't think I would have been pissed.
And maybe I would have turned around and said, yo, what up, dude? Even if I wouldn't have noticed it was me or something. But she is an angel, bro. Let me tell you. Okay. And Tyreek's mom, you can tell, doesn't have much of a filter. That's all I'll say.
She might end up becoming a star on this.
Yeah, she if you keep showing her, she's gonna go off on some people. I mean, she was kind of going off on the whole thing. She made it sound to Tyreek like she was the one that was swimming in cheese and nachos when it was really, the wife. But Tyreek, I want you to know, dude, your wife, brother, your wife is an angel. Okay? Your wife is the gold standard of class because not a lot of people would show the class and the I don't know what you want to call it, the calmness that she had in that situation. Because she's wearing some stylish clothes. She's got her hair fixed.
It went on her hair.
And it went her hair. And, women put a lot of work into themselves. You know what I'm saying? To go out and, they put a lot of work in themselves to look good. And she was looking good. And nachos and cheese are not what she wanted to wear. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to her. Now, it was her own fault. This was a situation that you can't blame anybody. It was just a goofy, uncomfortable situation I felt terrible for the guy. He wanted to clean a piece of cheese off of her, but he didn't want to touch her because in today's world, dude, it's weird. Great example. Lady drops her glasses the other day. And I'm about to bend down to get them. And I stopped. I said for a moment, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, there's your glasses. And I kind of like put my arms up to make sure nobody else crossed so she can bend down and get them. Because normally I would have grabbed her glasses. But in today's world, I don't want to touch your shit anymore. So I kind of have to I changed midstream, dude. I was going to grab her glasses, which I normally would have grabbed the purse, glasses, whatever she would have dropped. Now, in today's world, I kind of, let me not touch somebody else's stuff, but let me acknowledge to help her, hey, you dropped this. And then just don't let anybody else cross. That's what I did. That was my decent move, I guess. That's how the world has changed nowadays. You even think about how to do a favor for somebody, and there are lines now you can't even cross to do a favor for somebody. Yes, sir.
No, we got Anthony standing by, but I wanted to say on the one thing that stood out to me was afterwards, Dan Marino in the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Went up to him and he says, hey, we have those games. Right. Way to fight through it. And he was like, Uncle Dan, it really feels like there's a genuine relationship there. It's not just okay, I'm in front of the fans. They need to see me like Tua. There's really a genuine relationship between there.
Remember when I deciphered that picture?
Yeah. No.
Okay. 100%. And that picture, go back and look at it with Dan and Tua on the field. And I'm telling you that at that moment, Dan's telling Tua, hey, bro, what's going on here? Flowing on it. It's not your fault, dude. Which is what I said for 2 years. Had nothing to do with Tua. Had to do with everything around him. Now you changed everything around him, and look at him now. So it's just a matter of really understanding what the situation is. All right, let's go. A man that understands what the situation is with the Miami Heat, the one and only Anthony Chang, and our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report.
Heat fans, the fast break is on. It's our Baptist Health of South Florida Heat Report with insider Anthony Chang. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at BaptistHealth.net. Here's Anthony Chang.
All right. There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
Good, Big O. Back home. How are you?
I am good. I'm watching the market bounce back a little bit here, so it's nice to see after taking advantage of a little Bitcoin dip here. Anyway, let's get to it. They play the Cavs tonight, and I gotta say, bro, he's not tailing off. I'm gonna if I ride it one way, I'm going to ride it the other way. And Bam continues to play like he wants to be a star, dude. And the 24 points the other night, I thought, 23 points the other night. And again, an incredibly efficient night, 8 of 14, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. I really love the aggressiveness. Have you talked to him about this? Is this something that he has talked about himself wanting to be more aggressive offensively?
He spoke about it when I spoke with him before the season. I asked him, what have you been working on this summer? And he said, just being more consistent in the way of, I think, his aggressiveness. Like, because there were nights last year, the years before, he would get 30 points on 20 shots, and the next night he'd have 5 shots, right? And everyone would be like, what's going on? Right. I think he made it a focus this year to say, I'm going to be more aggressive consistently. I'm either the best or second best player on this team. If this team is going to win, I need to be a big part of that offensively. I need to take on a bigger scoring role. And you see it. I mean, yes, a lot of them are mid-range shots. We've talked about that. I know there's going to be stretches where he's going to go cold. That's just going to happen. That's going to happen. But but he's putting up the shots consistently. And this team needs that. They need that. You see it. And he's drawing more free throws. They're running offense through him. Now he's getting extra defenders thrown at him because he's taking a more aggressive approach. So now they're getting offense out of that when teams are sending second, third defenders at him.
Because he's not just facilitating.
Exactly.
He's actually scoring now instead of he's passing up the pass and going for the score. And it's something that I've noticed, and I'm extremely happy because in today's that's been my knock on him. In today's league, in order for me to consider you a star, you have to be able to impose your offensive will. This isn't the Ben Wallace days and the Dennis Rodman days, and all that's fantastic for those people in that era when you scored 95 points a game. When points were at a premium, defense was the premium. But now that points are supreme and points are what you need, not defense really, because you got to score in the mid-teens in today's league. I need you to be more of an offensive powerhouse in this league in order to be a star. If you're more driven by defense, I can't really look at you as a star because you're not going to contribute nearly. It's twisted, but you won't contribute nearly as much to the winning as you will being an offensive player in this league. The rules have dictated that, unfortunately. It's not me changing it. It's not me grading it on a curve now. It's not me changing the rules and the way the game is played. They did that. So if you're going to play a different game in the 90s, then I can judge a star differently in the 90s. But in the 2020s, I'm sorry, dude. Ben Wallace is not a star anymore in the 2020s. That's just the way it is.
Defense is always going to be Bam's strength. I mean, that's what he's best at. He's a defense-first player. But what you're seeing this season is that he continues to become a better offensive player. I mean, every year, say what you want about him. I mean, when he first got here, he was very raw offensively. He was not known to nobody. I don't think anybody probably thought he would be a 20-point-a-game scorer in his first or second year. He just didn't seem to have that. And look at him now. I mean, he's averaging 22, 23 points a game on 50+% shooting. And is he the best offensive center in the league? No. But is he top 5 at this point? Offensive center? Yeah. And that's props to Bam, props to the Heat for that development. Because again, when he first got here, he was a guy that he would get putbacks and shots off of offense, score points off of rebounds, alley-oops, but not.
Kudos to the Heat that they saw he had athleticism and a skill set. It wasn't like he was. Here's a great example: Orlando Robinson, who works hard at his game, but he's a little bit more of a stiff player. You know what I'm saying? He's more mechanical. And he's going to have to put in way more work in order to become what Bam is, where Bam has way more natural athleticism to him There's more fluidity.
Yeah, there's a fluidity for sure with Bam. He
Yeah.
almost looks when he has the ball, and he's had this too, his handles and his passing. I mean, that's stood out for 3-4 years ago, and he looks like sometimes like a perimeter player when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
And even his shot, his shot is a nice shot. It doesn't look like it looks like it's a guard putting up that jumper. You know, the way he shoots it, his shooting motion, and that makes me think eventually. I don't want to say this year. Eventually, he's going to develop the 3-point shot because he's a good mid-range shooter. He's a good free throw shooter. Usually, those type of guys, kind of like Chris Bosh, they eventually develop that 3-point shot. So, I would expect that maybe next year, 2 years, whenever it happens, he's gonna take more threes eventually.
All right, let's start with the broken record now. The other night, this is one of Jaime Jaquez's better games.
Yeah.
Only played a few, but it just, you know what I mean?
Every game, it's like better and better.
Yeah, a couple of weeks from now, we're going to go, hey, bro, this is probably his best game yet. You know what I mean? But the other night, dude, the 19 points, 3 of 4 shooting from 3-point range, the 4 assists, 2 steals. This kid is not only good, but he's also efficient already, which just, this is stupid. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. This kid can play ball, man.
Yeah,
wow.
He's shooting 50% from the field, and that's with, his 3-point percentage before last game wasn't good.
No. Yeah. That's got to improve.
Yeah, but overall, his mid-range jumper, his finisher on the basket, just his knack to make plays, his cutting off the ball, his movement off the ball, his passing when he needs, like, he doesn't really force anything. Everything just looks like in the rhythm of the offense. And then defensively, I know DeRozan got the best of him late in that game on Saturday, I think it was. But a lot of those shots were tough. And for the most part, they put yeah, exactly. And they put Jaime on LeBron. They've put him on top players from other teams, and he has held his own. And yes, the offense has been impressive, but to me, the defense, that was one of the big question marks. Can he hold his own on defense? And not only is he holding his own, he's been one of the Heat's better defenders.
Yes.
You look at him, his metrics in isolation situations, he's one of the best in the league. Now, I'm not saying he's one of the best defenders in the NBA, but that's a good sign. That's why he's playing late in games. That's why he's playing 30-plus minutes in games, because Eric Spoelstra trusts him on both ends. And that, you know this, Big O. To play late in a game for the Heat, you have to be trusted on defense. And that's exactly what Jaime has earned in the first 4 weeks of the season. So just continues to impress. I asked Bo about it after the last game. I'm like, I know we ask you about this after every game, but because it just seems like every game we're asking about Jaime doing something impressive, and it's just really, really cool to see. And he's really added, like, a player of that caliber off the Heat's bench. That's a game changer for this team.
So let me ask you something. If Duncan continues at this pace, brother, there's only one thing to do with Tyler. And I know you're not going to know what Spo is going to do.
Yeah.
But I just think it makes more and more sense. The more you see it, the kind of player Tyler is, he's actually desperately needed more to run the second unit. And I know you say, you talked about it, how they play him a short amount of minutes early on and then bring him back with the second unit. But things are going so well with the way they're structured now. And once, Caleb gets back into a groove, then you get him into the starting lineup instead of Highsmith or whoever else, or Jaquez or whoever. But you got to keep Duncan in there for this starting unit, because, the other night, 22 points, 6 of 9 shooting. He's become a better all-around player. And if it continues at this pace, it just doesn't make sense to put Tyler back in there. It makes sense to bring Tyler off the bench is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess those are good points. But first, it's a big if this continues at this pace. I mean, Duncan is shooting 50% on threes since he became the starter. That's not going to continue, right? I mean, he's not going to shoot 50% from 3 on 7, 8 attempts a game.
Okay,
He's probably
47. 45.
Probably, that's even that is unsustainable. Probably 40. Let's say 40%, which would be amazing, like for the type of threes he gets. But just in general, look, they could lose the next three. They could lose against Cleveland, New York, and Brooklyn, or they could lose 2 of the 3, and then all of a sudden the conversation changes. So until Tyler is back, until he's close to getting back, we have to think about it in that context because he's not back yet. So if they lose 2 of the next 3, the conversation changes.
That's why I said if it continues at this pace.
Yeah. The other option, the other option of doing, the other option, Big O, is do you take Kyle out of the starting lineup? Do you
Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry and put him to the bench and start Tyler and Duncan? I'm not saying it's the best move, but that's another option.
But then you're putting all your firepower to start.
Yeah.
You got to have some balance. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I'm already talking about also Caleb into the starting lineup eventually. So
I think Haywood is going to continue starting. I really do. I think Haywood continues starting in that power forward role. I think Caleb, they like him off the bench, kind of in that. Just you can plug and play in any different lineup. I think Caleb
and Tyler off the bench would be nasty.
Oh no, that is good. Look, Tyler. The bottom line to me is like the conversation. I know you don't agree with this, Big O, but the conversation of the Heat are better without Tyler Hero is ridiculous.
No. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I know. I think that's the bottom line. Like whether he comes off the bench or he starts.
Team, I'm talking about the units.
The units for sure.
Itself right now. I'm not saying to trade Tyler Hero. I'm not saying to get rid of him. I'm not saying to bench him. He's going to still get his 30-something minutes a game.
Right.
I'm just saying bring him off the bench because you kind of need him off the bench now more than you need him as a starter. And brother, it's been proven they can win without him. They can make runs without him. So let's stop lying to ourselves already. Yes, Tyler's fantastic. Yes, Tyler has a lot of talent. Yes, Tyler is multifaceted. Yes, Tyler is better suited coming off the bench, helping the Miami Heat, because as a starter, you can't tell me that they're going to go any deeper, any farther. than they do, because they don't. Without him, they go to the pinnacle without him. So what's the difference? Isn't it about making the best team possible? Bring him off the bench. That's it. It's not about what Tyler wants. It's not about making him happy. Brother, his fine-ass wife at home should make him happy. That's what's supposed to make him happy. Here, you're supposed to make the team satisfactory. And for Spo, I'm sorry, dude. You gotta do what's best for the team and put him on the bench. That's at least what I would do.
And Eric Spoelstra does that, right? He'll do what's best for the team. That's what makes him good. He has the job security to do whatever he wants. He could start a guy on a minimum. He could play a guy on a 2-way contract if he wants over a Duncan. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it happen before. So he's the type of coach that will do that. My counterpoint, and I don't disagree with you, Big O. I think Tyler off the bench would be fantastic for this team. He would still need to play 30-plus minutes a game. But my counterpoint to that would be you need, like late in games, you're going to have Tyler, Bam, and Jimmy on the court. You're going to. Right. 95% of the time. You need to find a way to make it work with the three of them together.
Tyler, Bam, Jimmy, and Duncan you'll have on the court with
maybe.
Bam.
Yeah. But you need to find a way to make those three work together. You can't hide from it in the regular season. You can't, well, they don't work together. Those three need all the run they can get together in the regular season, because in the playoffs, most of the minutes you're going to be playing is with those three on the court together. So, yes, I think Tyler would be good leaving those bench units. I think Eric Spoelstra would agree with that. That's why you see the way he's used Tyler when he was healthy, where he's the first one out and then in with the bench lineups. Like, there's a reason he does that, right? He knows that Tyler, as a lead ball handler, lead scorer with those bench lineups, is a good thing. That's usually successful. But those three together, I think Eric Spoelstra knows there is work to be done with, like, to make it work. We've seen it. There are some issues still with Bam, Tyler, and Jimmy, and like late in games, and who's taking the shots, how do they run their offense. They need as many minutes together as they can in the regular season, so that way in the playoffs it's a lot smoother. So that'll be my counterpoint to that. But we'll see. It's a good, as Eric Spoelstra would say, it's a high class problem that the Heat have right now, because they're going to get back a 25-point a game scorer in a couple weeks.
Every time you say my counterpoint, I've been programmed since I was a child, and all I can think of is Saturday Night Live and Dan Aykroyd turning to Jane Curtin and saying, "Jane, you ignorant slut," in the point and counterpoint segment that they used to have back.
Don't say that to me, okay, Vigo? Don't call me that.
Don't. That probably goes over your head because it was a long
Yeah.
time ago, and you probably don't even know anything about it. But when I hear point or my counterpoint,
Yeah.
that's all I can think of. I could just think of Dan Aykroyd saying to Jane Curtin, "Jane, you ignorant slut." It was just the classic back in the day. All right, what do you got going on in the Herald so folks can check you out, my man?
Yeah, so I posted 2 stories, one on Max Strus. I spoke with him ahead of tonight's game where he's facing his former teammates, former coaches. He spoke about his Heat experience, kind of what happened obviously in the offseason where he kind of knew it wasn't going to work out pretty early on just because of the money he was being offered and financial situation. I also spoke to Kevin Love, who I thought was going to play today in Cleveland for the first time since leaving the Cavs to join the Heat. And he had some interesting stuff to say. And just the leader he's become on this team and, taking over as a backup center and why those minutes have been productive. But Kevin Love is out tonight for personal reasons, so he will not make his return to Cleveland today. But both those stories are up on MiamiHerald.com.
There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chang. Anthony, happy Thanksgiving, my brother. Safe travels. Appreciate you as always. We will catch up later on in the week. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, Big O, to you and your family. And Sean.
Sir.
Have a good one.
There you go, Sean. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate you. And when we talk about Baptist Health, folks, Baptist Health is the official sports medicine provider for the Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, FIU, FAU, Orange Bowl, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami Open Tennis, Miami Marathon and Half Marathon, baptisthealth.net/ortho.
The Baptist Health of South Florida Miami Heat Report with Anthony Chang is brought to you by Baptist Health of South Florida. From orthopedics, sports medicine, cardiovascular, and even cancer. Get the world-class healthcare your family deserves at baptisthealth.net.
All right. I love the people at Baptist Health. Thank you for taking care of my wife like you guys did, like gold. Appreciate it immensely, man. God, that was scary stuff. She went to her follow-up today for her eye infection. So she ends up getting a steroid now. That's a rough one. That's a rough one, boy. Let's see. What else do we have? But she'll be fine. That's a good thing. She'll be fine. What do we have on the chat board here? After losing $100 betting on Miami to cover versus the Raiders, betting $200 on them this week. Miami 24, New York 3. Miami's defense scores a touchdown. Eric, man, get the Hard Rock app and wait for the live line. That's what I can tell you. Don't bet before. You'll get a better deal with the live line more often than not. Mama Hill handled it well too. She had.
Yeah, she sat down she didn't look before she sat down. She just kind of sat down. Then that's when the whole thing realized that's where all the nachos ended up.
Landed. But yeah, she was. She's going to let you know a little bit more than the other one. That's for sure. Yeah, Tyreek's wife. She's gonna keep it classy all the way through, but. Mama Hill will let you know if you screwed up, which is what mamas do. That's kind of what they do. It's kind of what they do.
You heard her talking about Tyreek?
And
he's going to be the last one off the field, making me wait out here in the sun.
Right, exactly. And I'm like mama, too, in a sense. As we get older, we start losing our filters. We just kind of like, I'm not holding back that much anymore. And so, that kind of happens. Can you imagine this show in 10 years? Anyway, Lenny Pena is in the house. Todd says, thankful for living in a secular, pluralistic society, human beings of all persuasions, self-governing themselves under rule of law and not church or person. It's precious. Let's not lose it. Ray Sosa, it's over for league if Bam develops a three-point shot. Yeah, that would be nasty. Gus 1388. Drago, that's why Spo is talking him up so much. Spo is giddy. Let's see. Boss B, Troy Ortiz, Karoon. Hope the wife heals better than ever. She'll be fine. She'll be fine. But it was sad that today it it developed into an infection. So she had to now take some stronger medicine. So taking some, she went to go see an eye specialist. And so she now is taking a steroid. So should gigantic football players be getting cakes, though? I would be giving them celebratory broccoli and asparagus. But notice how they really weren't eating the cake. They gave them away to other people. And then you know what those guys will do? They'll take it home, and then somebody in the house will have it. They won't have it, dude.
You saw Xavier Howard in the front row begging for one, right? He was
Right.
like, hey, give me cake. I need cake.
Yeah. Plus, he's a DB. All they do is run around and burn calories all damn day. You know what I'm saying? So those people are, those DBs and wide receivers, they don't keep any weight on. Those people are running around. Think about it. They're running on every single play, whether they're getting the ball or not. It's just, brutal. But it is what it is, right? We are going to have Matt Verderame at the top of the hour. We want to remind you of that. Also, Essential Moving Experts. We love Sean Williams and the boys. Great people. Moving was never so easy. Over 1,700 happy customers have filed in, and they have told you how an amazing experience they've had. What kind of an amazing experience they've had with Essential Moving Experts. And whether you talk to Sean or Brooke or anybody in the company, and by the way, from sea to shining sea, they handle anywhere in the country, from one city to another, within a city, within a county, from one state to another, or across the entire nation, folks. Call Essential Moving Experts, 386-213-4054. That's 386-213-4054. Flat rates, no surprise charges. There's some companies out there that they give you a ballpark figure on what they're going to charge you. That's not how they do it. They give you a flat rate. That's it. You know exactly what they're going to charge you. Safe and efficient loading and unloading practices all the time. That's why you're going to love Essential Moving Experts. A lot of our listeners have used them over the last couple of years, and every single one of them tells you that they've had a great experience and everything handled with a professional, and with professional courtesy is the way I should say it. So reach out to my friends at Essential Moving Experts if you're looking to move your home or your business. 386-213-4054. EssentialMovingExperts.com. All right. What happened? What do you got?
George Richards on the Panthers.
Uh-oh.
He said the Florida Panthers have gone from the bottom few teams in attendance to the top half so far this season. Tonight will be their fourth sellout in 9 games.
I told you the place was packed for the Oilers. Okay, and the Oilers team sucks. And the Oilers are not a traditional, Rangers, Toronto, those kind of Detroit, whatever, those kind of teams that come to town that other people want to see and things like that. Although Detroit's been a younger team lately, but when they were in their heyday and all that stuff, that's not what the Oilers are nowadays. They're not a sexy team in that sense. And that place was packed on Monday night. I went with the wife. It was great. It's awesome. They've done a great job, and that's because they've been dedicated to winning. Instead of whining like little bitches like they do with the Marlins, because I always hear that bullshit from the Marlins. Their ownership groups or PR departments, and they think they try hard enough, and they never do, and they never understand that. And the Panthers, they trade for superstars.
They pay their players. They keep their core around. And that's why fans are now investing and reinvesting their money and their emotions in the Panthers because you can trust Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu. They are men of their word. They have proven that over and over and over and over again. And they will do whatever it takes, even if the Bob move didn't work out for them at that moment. That was the move to make, and they were willing to do it. And they're willing to do whatever it takes. As Imagine Dragons would say, I'll do whatever it takes. That's them. They should have the Imagine Dragons song as a theme song for them because that's what Viola and Sifu, they do whatever it takes. Dale Talon's no longer good enough. The guy they inherited, out of here. We don't care if you're Hall of Fame worthy. You're not doing a Hall of Fame job for us right now. Get the hell out. This guy right here said you had to get rid of him. This guy right here said you cannot win with Barkov and Huberdeau as your best players. You need to trade one of them. That's exactly what they did. They went and got a star in Kachuk. That's a franchise. Instead of whining and pointing fingers and making excuses, they put their head down, they shut the hell up, and they started working and doing the right things. And they haven't won a cup, and there's their fourth sellout already this year in a young season. Do you know why? Because now they have, over time, it took several years, but over time they have proven to the public, no, we're not giving up. We're coming back, and we're coming back with more, and we're coming back with more, and we're going to build a new practice rink, and we're going to do all this at War Memorial, and we're going to improve the arena, and they don't stop. They are relentless, the same way Stephen Ross is with he hasn't won a championship, but that son of a bitch is relentless. Him and Tom Garfinkel will not stop. The Moss brothers will not stop. That's how you build trust in Miami, in South Florida. If you want fans to believe in you, brother, you want to get them to not go to the Keys? You want them to get them, you want to get them to not go fishing or go out to the beach or go to Las Olas or go to South Beach or Key Biscayne or Worth Avenue or out to the swamps or out to a theater or out to a club, out to a restaurant, out to a concert. We got a lot of shit going on here. We don't need sports to entertain ourselves. And sports teams that understand that are the ones that thrive here. Because you're competing against a lot of stuff that they don't have in Green Bay. And that's where I commend them. And that's where I would tell Bruce Sherman, my brother, stop doing what John Henry did. Stop doing what Jeffrey Loria did. Stop pointing the fingers. None of you have ever done enough. You never stay committed to winning. You never really, truly commit to winning. And this is why you never get Miami to respond. But if you want South Florida to respond, man, it's like that woman that you got to earn her love, and you got to take her out, and you got to bring her flowers, and you got to open the door for her, and you got to tell her you love her, and you got to remind her that you love her, and you got to send her, flowers just for the hell of it. That's South Florida. You must romance us with sports. If you do not romance us, we are not going to bed with you. We're not giving it up. That's just the way it is. But if you're here to spend money and you're here to entertain, then, hey, man, we're ready to entertain too. And I commend the Panthers, because the Panthers have done it the right way. Never pointing a finger, never making an excuse, never saying that the people aren't doing enough and they're not responding, and acting like you've done enough. And that's the problem with one team in South Florida, and that's why they never cross that threshold, because they don't get it. So, kudos. Panthers, Viola, Sifu, you deserve all the praise and all the love, man. Incredible job of building what the Heat did here, because we weren't even close to being a basketball town. Trust me. Take it from a person that grew up with no basketball in this town. Okay? People didn't give a shit about basketball in this town. It was very few fans that would be talking basketball in this town back in the day. It would take Celtics Lakers for people to talk about it, or something like that. Sixers, something big for the moment. And then you'll get a couple of people to talk about it, but nobody gave a shit about basketball. And the Arison family, obviously it was Chaffel and Lewis first, but the Arison family is the one that really understood, we got to build this thing. And then they got Riley, and Riley really understood how to build the culture. And they understood that in South Florida, they had to earn it. And they went out and earned it. And now they own it. They didn't earn it. Now they own it. Now people will flock to support the Heat because they trust them. And the Panthers are now working on that. Now it's beautiful. I saw it on Monday, and I said they crossed the threshold. They crossed the threshold of trust here in South Florida. It is sold out on a Monday night. Monday Night Football is going on, and they're playing a sorry-ass 5-win team in Edmonton, and the place is jam-packed all the way to the top of the rafters. Viola, Sifu, you guys are freaking amazing, dude. Amazing. Great stuff, what they've done. Great stuff. Baptist Health also always coming in the clutch. Yes, they are, Ray. Always, dude. Always. Should gigantic football players be getting cakes, though? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. Should the Dolphins take a look at linebacker Shaquille Leonard, who got placed on waivers? If they think he's worthy, why not? Most people go to see the Oilers just for McDavid, currently the best player on the planet. Yep. But still, it's a sorry-ass team. It's a 5-win team in a town that really is not hockey. So even if you have the best player, it's hockey. Doesn't really mean much. That's why. Good morning, Big O and Sean. I had to run to the store for a turkey bang. Had to tell Mrs. Nyborg her pan was holding 20-watt 50 from the last oil change. I was at one of the few back in the day talking about the Heat. We only had 2 playoff appearances prior to the Godfather, Riley's arrival. We were a laughing stock. Yep. Yeah, I had season tickets for the first 4 years. And then I got in the business and never got them again. Happy Thanksgiving week, Big O. Thank you, Herman. I appreciate you all. And remember, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin donation, which nothing makes me happier than a Bitcoin donation. Alexa says Binance banned from doing business in the USA. One less crook. Well, actually, they didn't steal anything from anybody. Everybody has their funds. So now, was he commingling stuff? Yeah, for sure. But he's basically suspended for 3 years. He'll end up coming back. The funny part about it all is, like I mentioned yesterday, Alexis, and you probably weren't listening. So what's illegal for them was that they were commingling, and to pay some stuff off, they were using funds from the client, which they're not supposed to. But our entire banking system is fractionalized, which means every time you deposit in your checking account $1, they get 95% of that dollar, 95 cents of that dollar, and they go and use it for other things, your money. And you see no interest from that. They're investing, they're loaning, they're making interest all over the place. And you're getting nothing of it. But yet our country and our SEC allows our banking institutions to do that. But then when Binance is doing it, it's not right. Or is it more about that BlackRock and ARK Investments and all of them are getting into crypto and they want to bump the big boy in crypto out in Binance? Because once you knock Binance out, there's no major player anymore. Crypto.com or Kraken's being sued or Bybit. Well, Bybit actually closed. No, Bybit is around. It's BitGet, the one that BitGet is around. Bybit is gone. There's trying to think of a couple of those other exchanges out there, but they're not big. So now BlackRock will become big. And then here's the thing. Notice all of the ETFs. Okay, Alexis, let me walk you through all the bullshit. Okay. Do you know who has stock in Coinbase? ARK Investments, BlackRock, T. Rowe Price, Fidelity. So all the big banks, right? And there's word that JP Morgan's trying to buy Coinbase. But Armstrong won't sell. But anyway, but a lot of the banks have now bought shares and stock into Coinbase. So all of the big banks, the people that run this country, basically, okay, because basically Larry Fink tells the SEC what to do. When you have gotten 500 of your 500, put it this way, BlackRock has filed 575 ETFs. How many of them do you think have been approved? In the history, they've filed for 575 of them. How many have been approved? 574. What they want, they get. And all the big boys in this country, they wanted Binance out. And that was a power play, what happened there. Because what Binance did, and everybody has their money, so nobody, see, notice how you say that now, you know, another crook, but everybody has their money in Binance. Everybody that bought their coins and kept their coins there at the moment, which you shouldn't do on any exchange, because I've been telling you that forever. I don't know how many, have we talked about cold storage wallets once or twice? Once maybe, right? Maybe. I'm not sure. I think we may have told you to buy anything on an exchange and then move it right away. I'm not sure. We might have told you that 100 times. Maybe.
And 101 times, make sure you're with a exchange that you can get your coins off of.
Exactly. So, you know, there's no thieving here. Now, the commingling of funds is not right, but the banks do it, Alexis. So let's not stand on a soapbox here and act like CZ is anything different than what Americans are doing on a consistent basis and screwing you guys. At least with CZ, you still have your money and you can stake and get interest where you're not getting anything there in the banks. All they're doing is using your money and you get nothing out of it. Isn't that beautiful? They get to use all your money. And you get nothing out of it. Understand what's going on before you really speak about these situations. Because the power plays that are going on behind the scenes, it's just crazy. And we are just pawns in this game. That's why, I laugh at the people that were laughing at me with all the Bitcoin stuff in the last couple of years. And now you watch the smartest, richest, most powerful people in the world. And they're all getting in on it. And any of you out there that still think that Bitcoin isn't the real deal, and you're watching the most powerful financial people in the world lining up to get it, I mean, you got to be pretty king-size stupid at this point and ignorant to a point that it's embarrassing. Okay? If you're denying what's going on in front of you now with the most powerful financial people in the world wanting this product, you have zero intelligence and common sense at this point, basically. Let's see. Howdy-o, nice Inter shirt. Does Canes Wear sell them? Did I buy this one at Canes Wear? I think I bought this one at Canes Wear a while back. Now, this is, I bought this when we were at Onside. You remember, right? So this is a long time. This is a couple of years ago. I don't know if they still have. Go online, man. Caneswear.com. Remember, Big O10. Get 10% off. Use our code. I can't repeat it enough. But you can go online and see if they have it, Ray. I'm not sure. But I loved it. That's why I bought it, because it just was such a cool shirt. So I had to get it. Thank you, Brett. Happy Turkey Day to you. Miami Breaker, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Big O, can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah! Nick says commingling funds. First time I heard that term was Hollywood Homicide with Harrison. Do you know anything about Dashcoin? I do not. I am not into Dashcoin. I do not know. I'm sorry. Apologies, my friend. There are thousands of coins. I can't know all of them. True thanks, setting it straight for me. It's all good, Alexis. The problem is that we have so many media that really don't understand this business. They don't know anything about crypto, and they don't really follow the game itself and the players. But I do. And so I'd rather, I always think it's always smarter to follow the people that are way richer than I am. Since I'm not rich and I'm a, regular blue collar dude, it's kind of interesting to follow what rich and powerful people want to do. Oh, they think that's a good idea and they're rich and powerful? Why not? Well, one of the things in injective protocol. Oh, are we? Oh, all right, let's go. I'm sorry about that, Matt. Here we go. Hour number 2. I'll get back to that. Hour number 2 starts. Matt Verderame right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
ready to go, ready to rock. How you feeling, Matt? You feeling good?
I am really tired. I'm okay. Yeah, a lot of travel the last couple of days, and then trying to get everything done for a long work week in the span of about 24 hours with the holiday coming up. So, good, but happy to be sitting in my house and not my car.
Did you watch any Hard Knocks last night?
No, I didn't have any time to.
Okay.
No. That is
All right.
on the. It will be watched this week, but it has not been watched yet.
Okay, no, I'm not surprised. I think most of America probably did not watch it. The only people that watched it last night were the people that are Dolphin fans. That's probably the only people that used it as a priority last night. Like for me, it was must-see TV at 9:00, obviously. And I didn't have any Heat or Panthers playing, so it kind of helped out, last night that both teams were off. So that really took a little bit of a burden off of it. So I'm not surprised. Are you surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs can't score in the second half with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse?
Yeah, I mean, look.
That makes now. What happened the other night was disgusting because you can't ask Pat Mahomes to make more perfect passes than what he made.
Right.
And, whether it was the fourth down or the touchdown or whatever it was, the guy made the throw that would have made the throws that would have won that game the other day. So is it that they can't score, or are we just watching the worst wide receiving core that he's had so far in his tenure? And so now maybe the Dolphins were on to something here where now teams are limiting Kelsey because they know that everybody else is just not going to burn you. I don't know. You tell me, how do we decipher this shit?
I don't know if the Dolphins are the one who broke that. I mean, the Broncos did it the week before that.
That's right.
So, you've had, and other teams have done it. This is definitely the worst receiving core he's ever had. I mean, that was true a month ago. It's certainly true now. Their second half stuff, they're averaging 5.3 points per game, second half of games. I mean, they can't score.
Makes no sense.
They can't. Now, early in the year, it was a little funky because in 2 games, they slid down to end the game at the 1-yard line. So they would have scored twice. And then they played the Bears, and they were literally up like 41-0 at halftime. So they basically played Gabbert the second half. Yeah, I mean, so early in the year, there was a little bit of wonkiness to it where you're like, yeah, they're not scoring, but there's kind of a reason behind it. The last 3 weeks to a month, can't score. They just can't do anything. I mean, in that Eagles game, Kelsey fumbles at the 5-yard line. MVS drops the easiest walk-in touchdown of his life.
Jesus.
I mean, there's 14 points, and they gave him away with a turnover and a drop. They are a horror show offensively when it comes to turnovers. They have the 3rd most in the league. Penalties, which they're actually in the middle of the pack in penalties, but they take them at brutal times. And their biggest problem, other than the turnovers, which I think is number 1, the drops. They lead the league in drops. I think it was Pro Football Focus, give them credit. 21% of Mahomes' incompletions this year are drops. It's impossible. I mean, and a lot of them are guys wide open, just drop the ball right there. And it's been all year long. The only saving grace for the Chiefs is the defense is incredible, and they've got a schedule that going forward, 6 of their last 7 games are games that they could play like crap and probably still win. But that's where they're sitting.
Did they outsmart themselves thinking that, well, we got Mahomes and he'll elevate everybody, but you can elevate people, but only so much. Right. At one point or another, Marino still had Duper and Clayton, and Montana, still had Rice and Taylor, and and we could keep going, and Aikman had Irving, and had a hell of a tight end too, by the way, and the greatest show on turf, and all the great quarterbacks had great players to throw to, dude. It's not, but the Brady thing, I guess they got by with the Oompa Loompas for so long and all that, but it seems like they went kind of cheap on the tackles, and then they kind of like, and I like the kid that they got from the Giants, but he's been so inconsistent. Whether it's injuries or whatever, he doesn't cross that threshold that he has the gifts. and then all the other guys, and we'll bring back Miko, and
Right.
it's almost like they're almost like trying to, cut corners in certain areas where just because you have the best player in the league, maybe you're relying too much on the best player in the league because, dude, that 4th and 25,
I know.
that was a perfect throw, bro.
I was in the press box. And
how do you drop that ball on 4th and 25?
Listen, I'm up in the press box for the game, and I was right up against the glass, and I'm sitting next to Jarrett Bell of USA Today and Jeffrey Chidi of NFL.com. We're both A+ dudes, right? So we're sitting there watching the game.
I know both of them.
And the 4th and 25 throw, they're in the press box. There was just a collective it was just like, how could you, that throw was so ridiculous. And it hit him right in his hand. How do you drop that ball? It's right in your hands. And look,
it shows you what a bad mother effer Mahomes is, bro.
The funny thing was, it's 4th and 25. Nobody in that stadium thought the game was over. Nobody. It was like, well, he might complete this. And if you've ever tried on or touched NFL gloves, they're like fly paper. So to drop these balls over and over and over is almost impossible, and yet the Chiefs continue to do it. Listen, I think it is true that they went cheap on the receivers. Look, all right, so let's hear. Here's essentially what happened. They traded Tyreek Hill to get a bunch of draft picks. They had to rebuild their defense. And to their credit, they did. They turned those picks into Karlaftis and McDuffie and Brian. They did their job in that regard. Okay. That is one of the rare trades. Both teams would do it again. As much as the Chiefs missed Tyreek Hill, both teams would do it again.
They got a title.
Yes, it worked out for them. And their defense is maybe the best defense in football. Now, the argument, though, the other way is, or not the argument the other way, but the reality the other way is this offseason, talking to people in that building, the thought was saying, look, Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore are going to step up. They're going to be our guys, and we're going to supplement them with MVS and Justin Watson and Rashee Rice. Well, the good news for the Chiefs is Rashee Rice can play, but he's a rookie and he's inconsistent. The bad news is Sky Moore is a paperweight, and Kadarius Toney has done nothing all year long. And so they brutally missed on their evaluations of both those guys. And so now you're in this position where Justin Watson basically has to be the number one receiver on this team when he's really like a number 3 receiver. And you're stuck just praying you can make, wine out of water, essentially. But the reality is, if they stopped turning the ball over, they probably wouldn't lose. I mean, they've lost these games because of turnovers, but they have a very small margin for error on offense because they just can't make plays. I mean, how many times on Monday night did Mahomes sit in a clean pocket for 4-5 seconds and there's nowhere? I mean, there's just nowhere to go with football because you can't get open. Then they get open, they drop the ball. So, I mean, the upside for the Chiefs, they got 7 games left. 5 of them are against Aiden O'Connell twice, who Miami just got a good look at, Jordan Love, Mac Jones, and Jake Browning. I mean, those are 5-year games. And then another game is against the Chargers. So if you're the Chiefs, you're probably going to still finish with 13 wins. But it's been a difficult year for the offense for sure.
Yeah. And still they can still turn it around, and guys can get a little bit on a roll and kind of fix that issue. But man, it is weird watching them struggle and then watching Mahomes make nasty throw after nasty throw, and they can, hang on to it. All right, this week, Friday, Dolphins obviously taking on the Jets, and it's the dynamic of just try to beat the defense, but don't keep them in the game by giving the offense like they did this past week, that you're playing a bad team in the Raiders and you're turning over the ball, interceptions, fumble, all that shit, and you're keeping them in the game. A couple of months back, you let the Giants get ahead of you 14-0 to start the game, and then you had was it the Giants or Carolina that went up 14-0?
Carolina.
It was Carolina. Carolina up 14-0, and then you had to come back. And to me, that's the trick of these bad, because Tim Boyle's not going to beat you, bro. So you now with Ramsey back, to me, I think this defense has now turned the corner, actually. And more than anything, we're watching a little too many turnovers by Tua lately. And to me, that's kind of, you talk about the Chiefs. Well, with the Dolphins, the turnovers have been something that has kind of been a bit of an Achilles heel right now. And against these kind of teams, this is what you have to eliminate to.
Yes. I agree 100%. Look, if I'm the Dolphins, if I'm Mike McDaniel this entire week, I'm just telling the offense, listen, guys, I don't care if we don't get a ton of explosive plays. Just don't give them the ball. Don't turn the ball over. Because if we win this, if we have one of these games, like if you're the Dolphins, you want this game to be boring. You want this game to just be, hey, look, we're going to hand off to the backs and we're going to run for our yardage because the Jets are not a great rushing defense or average. We're just going to run the ball and we're going to take our quick throws to Tyreek and our quick throws to Waddle, and that's fine. And if you score 23 points and win the game 23-10, who cares? You win. It doesn't matter. Like, it's, we were just talking about Kansas City. They play at Vegas this weekend, who, of course, the Dolphins just beat. It's the same thing. If you're the Chiefs, you go into that game, hand off to Pacheco, throw it underneath. Like, who cares? The Raiders aren't scoring 30 points in that game against that defense. Like,
please.
Aiden O'Connell scoring 10, 13 points. Like, just don't give him the ball. Don't give him free points. And I think if you're the Dolphins, that has to be the strategy in this game. Just run the ball, quick throws. There's no look. Remember how the Bills lost week 1 to the Jets, and how the Eagles lost to the Jets. And by the way, that's how the Chiefs almost lost to the Jets. It was just turnover palooza in their own end of the field. Like, that's the only way the Jets win this game. It's the only way. Is if you're just giving them free points, that's how you lose. If you're the Dolphins, if you tell me the Dolphins don't turn the ball over, the Dolphins are winning this game 100 times out of 100. Like, you just don't turn it over, play a boring, simple game, and get out of there at 8-3.
The defense for the Dolphins has now, I think, gone to another level now with Jalen Ramsey in there. It looks like Fangio now has a little bit more freedom, obviously, because you got 2 island corners now, and then Holland, playing safety, and, Chubb's been playing out of his mind. Phillips is picking up a bunch of sacks. I think the Dolphins turned the corner, but the odd part is that incredible offense has kind of gone a little bit more neutral now. And they got to kind of recapture that offensive magic, because if they don't, then they won't have they had the imbalance. Now they're back to imbalance again because the defense is doing their job. And strangely, the offense is not doing their job. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It happens though sometimes. Like, it's hard because if the defense starts playing well, as Miami's has, should say, the last couple of weeks, your offense isn't as pressured to make every play all the time where you've got to have it. I think when you play defense the way Miami's played it the last few weeks, you can play a little bit more of a game where it's like, look, we have to punt the ball. It's not the worst thing in the world. We can play some field position. We can do that. And we also have an offense that we know if we've got to punt the ball away, even if we give up a field goal or so, who cares? I mean, you just don't want to give up sevens. So I do think there's a little bit with Miami of like, look, I mean, it's not the dumbest way to play football. And this is a year in general where defenses have really played a lot better. I mean, this has been a year where even the best offenses in the league have struggled to score points. I mean, it's not been a year, we've had years in recent past here where a lot of teams are over or right at about 30 points a game. Nobody's doing that this year. I mean, it has just been a year of attrition. And Miami's been one of the teams, offensively is as good as anybody. It's also getting to that time of the year. It's harder. Teams now have a lot of film. Teams also are just, look, they're playing for more, right? I mean, if you're in the mix, you're fighting for your life or you're fighting for seeding. And so if you're on a bad team and you're a young guy, you're fighting for your job. Like there's more urgency this time of year. Games get tighter, margins get smaller. Look, I think the Dolphins are still an extremely explosive team. But I think with their defense playing the way they're playing, like you don't have to be that team that scores 35 every game. That's a good thing. That's a good problem to have.
Detroit, obviously, playing tomorrow, which normally they give you a pretty inspired effort on Thanksgiving, but they're actually legit now. They're 8-2, and Jared Goff is playing the best football he has ever played in his life. And I got to tell you, this shitty game he had this week was fantastic, because to me, that's the sign of a really good quarterback. The guy that has a terrible day, but somehow or another finds a way to win at the end of the game. To me, that's the sign of a real franchise quarterback. So my question to you is, did you ever imagine Jared Goff to play this kind of football as a quarterback?
Not after we got out of McVay's system with the Rams,
Right?
no. I thought once he got traded out of the Rams, he was kind of going to be one of these guys who moved around 3 or 4 times, and that was it. And I will say it's a credit to him, and it's a credit to Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator.
He is frozen in time.
You froze for me, but are we good now?
There we go. Is he back?
Okay.
Is he back? Because it's rolling here for me.
You're rolling fine.
There we
You were
go. There we
frozen
go.
for a
Now,
second. All right. Goff.
there we go.
Goff deserves a lot of credit, but so does their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, who is going to be a head coach next year. He's done an excellent job. Their offense has been built in a way that it's accentuated Goff's strengths. Goff's a smart quarterback. He's an accurate quarterback. He's not the guy you want throwing the ball 50 yards down the field all the time. You want a guy who's smart. And Goff can do that. Goff can play that way. So credit to him. And they've got a lot of talent. I mean, they've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They've got Jameson Williams. They've got Laporta, who's been excellent as a rookie tight end. And so when you factor all these guys in, plus now you got Montgomery and Gibbs in the backfield. I mean, if you're the Lions, you're sitting there going, look, I mean, just play point guard, right? I mean, just get the ball out. Don't make the mistakes. And Goff, to his credit, I know he threw 3 picks last week. It's an anomaly. He typically doesn't do stuff like that. He's played well. He's done a nice job.
Yeah.
And so you give him a lot of credit for the way he's played.
Yeah, I am absolutely shocked with the way he has played. He looks like a stud playing in that system. And obviously his confidence has grown too, which we see it here with Tua, that once, somebody believes in you, and then you always have to believe in yourself, but you have to go have success so it can kind of grow. You know what I mean? Like anything in life. And that's what they've been able to do in Detroit, man. I have been just absolutely blown away with the way that man has played. You got Lions or Packers tomorrow? Kind of easy, right?
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions. The Packers are not good. I know they beat the Chargers, but I mean, so what?
Ron Rivera's final year with the Commanders or the Cowboys?
Yeah. Ron Rivera is he's living out his swan song right now. Dallas. I think Dallas wins that game. I think it's actually maybe like somewhat interesting with Sam Howell, but I think Dallas will win the game.
And Niners and Seahawks?
I like the Niners, but I wouldn't be shocked if Seattle wins. Seattle is a good team, and they're desperate in this game because they know if they lose this game, it's I don't know if you've looked at their schedule. Their next 4 games are the Niners twice, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. Like, they need to win this game.
Yeah. And Seattle has a tendency of giving really inspired efforts against San Francisco.
They do. They play well against them.
It's just one of those things that they have a tendency of putting up a decent game, and I would not be surprised if they put up a decent game. But hey, listen, we are past the point with Purdy, right? We just got to say, dude, the guy can throw the ball. I mean, say whatever you want. He makes consistently good decisions. His accuracy is always there. Yeah, he runs a loaded offense. I get all of that. I get he's got a great quarterbacks coach in Shanahan that understands the position, but the mother effer makes the throw. And in the end, we got to stop making excuses for the guy and just give him some love, dude.
He's leading the league in yards per attempt by a mile. I mean, at some point, yeah, I mean, he makes plays. Now, I will always I should say, not always, but I feel like part of his deal is that they're in advantageous situations a lot, and so they can do whatever they need to do. But,
Sure.
and yeah, I mean, it's a Globetrotters team around him. That being said, he's doing it. I mean, did Jimmy Garoppolo ever play this well?
No, I'm saying.
I mean, yeah, I'm with you. Like, Trey Lance didn't play this well. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play as well. He's playing this well. So, do I think he's a top 10 guy in the league? I don't. Do I think he's above average? Yeah. And if you're the Niners, that's all you need with that roster. No question.
All I can say is he's a good quarterback, and he's accurate as a mofo, and he does not make mistakes. Dude, that has to be you have to give people credit for that. You just have to. And it's just because he's a 7th rounder, we find every way possible to not give him credit. And it's almost like we're fighting, Tom Brady part 2. And I'm not saying he's Tom Brady,
But I am saying, dude, let's just give him respect right now, at least, because he deserves it. He just deserves it, man. You know, it's pretty amazing. All right, what do you got going on at Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
Man, I've written everything in its mother this week. So I wrote the column coming out of Arrowhead on Monday night. I've got quarterback rankings, matchups to watch this week. I've got a running column that usually goes up on Thursdays, but it's going up on Thanksgiving because we're going to be covering every single one of those games in real time. MVP stock watch, which has Tyreek Hill rising at this point. I mean, I got to tell you, I think I'd vote for him right now if I had to vote for this thing. Rookie stock watch, that's out there. And then also, importantly, today, for those who aren't aware, this is the 60th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. And I wrote a retrospective about the NFL decision play that weekend. It's in the magazine. It's a 5-page spread in the magazine. If you want to go buy it, check it out. It's also online as of yesterday. I talked to Jerry Kramer, Ed O'Bradovich, Joe Brown, who was in the NFL for many, many years. I really enjoyed writing it and telling the story. And I talked to a guy named Bud Tallman, who was the Navy SID at the time. And I will tell you, he was fascinating. And there's a section in the story about the Navy and him and everything else. So hopefully people take a few minutes and check it out. I'd appreciate it.
Roselle never really regretted doing it, right?
No.
And
publicly,
and to me,
privately, no.
Right. Behind the scenes, it wasn't something that he really ended up. And in the end, it was, you know, it proved to be that was going to be a way of life for us as U.S. citizens. Kind of go through a lot of the tough moments and at the same time get you through those tough moments, you know? So it was an interesting time, no doubt about it. All right, follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, I appreciate you. We will talk next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.
Happy Thanksgiving. Did he freeze again? He froze at the end there? Well, happy Thanksgiving, my brother. We love you. Yeah, I know. I didn't get to hear him. All right. Don't forget, we got the new Integra 2024 here. 3.9% financing, 36 months, $329 a month. The TLX 2023, we still have some of those models, $399 a month. The all-new MDX 2024, $529 a month. And you can also get 3.9% financing for up to 36 months. And the TLX Type S 2023, that thing is beautiful. In fact, there's one right over there, $649 a month, the TLX Type S. Come on down, check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75. And Pines, finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Let's see. What do we have here on the chat board? Until proven otherwise, I see us being 11-3 going into the Cowboys game and losing the last 3 games against the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. And losing? They're not going to lose against the Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. And barely win. Nah. I disagree with you, True Fin fan. There is no freaking way they lose those 3 games. No way. They might lose 1. I don't even think 2. I really don't. I think this team turned the corner. I think they're gonna start playing better and better, and especially on the offensive end, I think things will get figured out. And you'll see, I think Tua reached the boiling point this week. I really do. When watching Tua blow up on himself this week, I loved it because he should blow up on himself. The turnovers are getting to a point, and I think he understands it. And then that fumble, and you're watching what's gone on, and you saw what happened with Tyreek the week before in Kansas City. Tua understands. I think this offense is going to turn the corner now. Now that the defense has turned the corner. I get you guys have been programmed with negativity. I'm sorry. This is a really talented roster. It's time to kind of put it together now. I disagree with you. I think they're going to end strong. I really do. And I think the offense will wake up, Dolphin fans, and the defense is already there. All right. There you go. Anyway.
The Athletic conducted a survey.
Yes, sir.
Apparently they asked 73 players which coach they'd most like to play for. Which current coach would you like to play for?
Mike McDaniel was top of the list, I bet.
Nope.
Andy Reid, then Mike McDaniel.
Nope. Another one that you talk highly about.
Campbell.
Nope.
Then Shanahan?
Mike Tomlin.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Another one you thought. And then it was then Mike McDaniel.
I was just thinking that their team is just not.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I guess they just asked like which coach would you want to play for without not necessarily the team right now. Others got 10.4, and then it was Andy Reid, Dan Campbell, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni.
So McDaniel was second?
Second, yep. Overall second, yep.
I can see that.
But Mike Tomlin
and by the end of
28% of
that makes
vote.
sense. By the end of Mike Tomlin, by the end of this Hard Knocks, it'll be Mike McDaniel. It'll be Mike McDaniel. This is going to be such a positive for the Dolphins. It's ridiculous how positive it's going to be for the Miami Dolphins. And I'm surprised you think that way, True Fin fan, that they're going to lose those 3 games. I'm surprised. I think the Dolphins, I think they're going to surprise you, man. Who does well against elite defenses? But you got to start doing well. You got to start beating them. You can't lose to them all the time, okay? You got to start winning those kind of games. That's really the way it goes. Do want to tell you about Welt and Rayom. Let's talk about a law firm that is here for you for South Floridians or Floridians. If you're in Florida, you can call them. Consultation's free. Everything can be done by the phone. 954-966-4646. If you're dealing with condo damage, criminal damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, you call Jeff and Dan. They know how to get it done. And again, maybe you're not even sure you have a case. And you think, it's worth calling. Don't think it's not worth calling because the consultation's completely free. Ask for Jeff Welt. Tell him, hey, Big O says to call to find out if, I have a case. And explain to Jeff what you've got going on. And then he'll tell you if you have a case. Completely free, folks. Pick up the phone. Save it on that cell phone. 954-966-4646 for Welton Rayom. And look, I know we're out of hurricane season. Technically, we're not. It's up until the end of this month, but we are. But I want you to save that number because you just never know when you're going to use it. And I know in hurricane season, they are called a lot, especially during the summer, even when there aren't hurricanes, but there's a lot of water damage because there's a lot of rain. And you could be in a condo or a home or something, and you suffered some water damage, call Welton Rayom. Insurance companies are not looking out for your best interest. They have their own adjusters. 954-966-4646. Big O, is there anything that we should worry about this game other than the Jets D? Nikolai, it's about taking care of the football, my brother. I don't worry so much about the Jets defense. I worry about how the Dolphins offense is going to handle it. They're the ones that have chosen to throw risky passes and their turnovers. They're the ones that are fumbling the ball lately and giving away the ball to the opponent. That's what I'm worried about. I just want the Dolphins to play smart football on offense and they'll win. I don't expect the Jets offense to do anything whatsoever against Miami. Nothing at all. But if you start turning over the ball, so that's what I'm worried about. Play smart football.
Of course, the Jets defense is badass, but it's not as bad if you go out there and take care of the football. That's the way I look at it. Is Tyreek's mom married to a Spanish guy? Because I've seen Sanchez as her last name. I have no idea. Maybe. I don't know. You have to compete. Talking about teams that are elite. Talking about teams that are elite or better than you. That's right. Big O, I hope I'm wrong. You know how much I want to win. I know. I get it, but they've owned Baltimore the last couple of years, and I don't know why they wouldn't beat Baltimore again. I don't expect Lamar Jackson to have this incredible game against the Dolphins, to be quite honest. With the secondary that Miami has, he's not the passer to beat them. Never has been, never will be. And then the Cowboys are the biggest chokers that I've ever seen in my life. There is no franchise that chokes more than the Cowboys. There's no franchise that loses in bigger moments more than Jerry Jones Cowboys. So there is no freaking way they're losing both of those games. No way. By chance they lose one, they can lose to anybody, fine. But that's the most I see is one game out of those three. You know, I'll be surprised if they lose 2 out of 3, and there's no way in hell they're going to lose all 3 of those games. No way. I can't believe that. I refuse to believe that. All right, let's go with the little entertainment history. Why don't we do a little bit of music history, I'm sorry. Not entertainment history, music history. What mattered on November 22nd in music history? We shall tell you. And first of all, on November 22nd, Nicki Minaj solidified her place in the rap game by releasing her debut album on this day 13 years ago. Harajuku Barbie dropped her first studio LP Pink Friday via Young Money Cash Money Records. The 13-track album was led by a mixture of hip-hop pop hits like Your Love, Check It Out with will.i.am, Right Through Me. However, following its release, Minaj focused on her harder rap record like Did It On Me and Moment for My Life featuring Drake and Roman's Revenge featuring Eminem and produced by Swizz Beatz. Pink Friday also contained collaborations with Rihanna, Kanye West, and Natasha Bedingfield. So there you go. A little music history for you. Also, on this date in music history, if this thing wouldn't freeze up on my ass, I can tell you. We're having connection issues? Okay. Let's see. Here we go. 1990. The Rolling Stones, Bill Wyman, announced the end of his 17-month-long marriage with model Mandy Smith, who was 34 years younger than him. Soon after, Bill's 30-year-old son would marry Mandy's mother. Okay, in 2002, Ray Manzarek and Robbie Krieger of The Doors announced that they would record and tour again with a new lineup, including cult singer Ian Astbury and Police drummer Stuart Copeland. In 2004, Ozzy Osbourne struggled with a burglar in his English mansion. Although the Prince of Darkness got the masked thief in a headlock, the man was able to break free, jump 30 feet from a window, and make off with about $3.2 million of jewelry. What is Ozzy doing with $3.2 million of jewelry in his house? Has he not heard of a bank and safes? And by the way, he bit the head off of a bat. Why didn't he bite this mofo? Jesus. He probably still has rabies from the bat. Just bite the guy. In 94, Pearl Jam released their third album, Vitalogy, on vinyl 2 weeks before it would come out on the CD. The record became the first vinyl album to appear on the charts since the domination of the compact disc format. In 97, on this date, In-Excess singer Michael Hutchins was found dead in his hotel suite in Sydney. The rocker hung himself with his belt in what some think was a autoerotic asphyxiation gone awry, but there has been no evidence to confirm that. In 2004, U2 shot the video All Because of You from the back of a flatbed truck that was driving through New York City. Later that day, they performed a brief concert under the Brooklyn Bridge for MTV. Great album, too, by the way. And that's what happened today in Musica history. Let's give you a little birthdays today. Why don't we? Let's start off with Baby Ariel, actress. She is 23. Hailey Bieber, model. She is 27. Scarlett Johansson is 39. Mark Ruffalo, the actor, is 56. Jamie Lee Curtis, actress, is 65. And Mads Mikkelsen, movie actor, is 58. Usually plays a bad guy. I don't think I've ever seen him play a good guy. Juju Smith-Schuster is 27 years old. Billie Jean King is 80 years old. Emerson Barrett, drummer for who? For Palais Royal, an art rock band. I have no idea who they are. Michael D. Cohen, actor, is 48. Molly Rainford, pop singer, is 23. Vinnie Mauro, drummer for Motionless in White, a metal band. He is 30 years old. Let's see. Michael Kenneth Williams. We just lost him. Born on this date in 1966. We lost him in 2001. He was in that movie, that show that was on HBO, a throwback show. God, what's the name of it? Yeah, he did a really good job on it. Forgot now. Anyway, maybe somebody will remember because they'll know the actor and they know what the hell I'm talking about. Trying to remember. One of the guys from Reservoir Dogs was in it. The guy with the bad teeth and the blue eyes. What's his? Mr. Pink, actually. I forgot his name. Vie Valo, rock singer from the Finnish rock band Him. Don't know him whatsoever, but somebody from Finland might be watching. He is 47 years old. That is what happened today in music history. There you go. Happy birthday to the late Rodney Dangerfield. Really? It's today? How come he wasn't on that list? That's a pretty famous list. And that's a super famous person to not be involved on it today. Wow, that's really, huh? Did I miss him? Wait a minute. I gotta go back to that. Hold on. Are you telling me that Ronnie Dangerfield was not on this list, or I skipped him? That is embarrassing for these people. Rodney Dangerfield is not on this list. Wow. That's bad. That's sad, isn't it? That is sad, dude. That don't fly, son.
Crazy stuff. Big O shout out to Coach Campanelli, brother, Vito Campanelli, and the Bergen Catholic Crusaders going back-to-back state titles in MetLife on the 28th. It's fun. Did nothing for me, bro. I've heard that rah-rah speech from coaches. I've been at this for 33 years, bro. You know, to me, that was the least impressive thing out of the Hard Knocks thing yesterday, to be quite honest. That did nothing for me. All right, let's do it. Let's open it up for the man, the myth, the legend. That is Joe Shad and our essential moving experts, Miami Dolphins Exchange.
It's time to talk Aqua and Orange. Miami Dolphins fans. Here's a man with incredibly high standards. In fact, he isn't impressed with Tyreek Hill's dominance, Jalen Waddle's speed, or even Teron Armstead's swag. It's the Essential Moving Experts Miami Dolphins Exchange with Joe Shad. When you're looking to move your home or business anywhere in the U.S. from coast to coast, call Essential Moving Experts at 305-602-8369. Flat rates and no surprise charges. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Call 305-602-8369. Let's talk football. Here's Joe Shad.
Right. There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. Joe, you doing good? You feeling good?
Doing well. Looking forward to traveling to New York with my wife and daughter, and we'll have Thanksgiving with family.
Good, man. Yeah, I know that's old stomping grounds for you, so that's good stuff. What'd you think of Mike effing McDaniel yesterday on Hard Knocks? Because you don't get all those F-bombs in the press conferences.
Yeah, that might have been the most surprising thing, even though we shouldn't be surprised in general that coaches curse. Of course, they all curse, almost all of them anyway. There weren't a lot of surprises in the show. I thought it was fine. I feel like maybe if there's a huge surprise, then we're not doing our job. There shouldn't be huge surprises.
No, you're a thousand. It wasn't like the greatest episode of Hard Knocks or anything like that. It was a decent episode and all of that. But it was fun to watch how McDaniel is just throwing those F-bombs, all over the place. One of the things that I thought was really cool is the weekly dinner that the offensive linemen have. And I think that's actually a fantastic bonding thing for them to do that. That's a great way to build camaraderie. I thought that was a really cool moment, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw last year, I was the first person to write a story about that.
Yep.
I was talking to Austin Jackson and Robert Hunt about the offensive line coaches. And Matt Applebaum was the offensive line coach at the time. And they basically told us, Teron is kind of our coach. And I was like, really? That's really interesting. And they were like, yeah, in fact, he has us over to his house for dinner many weeks. And then we go out to dinner. And you saw that last night. You saw how Teron is kind of like the dad of the group.
Of course.
And so it was cool to see.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. The Campanelli stuff,
it's good for camp. He'll have a chance to be a college head coach. Maybe that video helps him.
Yeah, that's great. But to me, it's like that didn't do anything for me, actually.
Yeah, but some college AD is going to see that. I'm not saying it's a college thing. I'm just saying that right. It would make sense for him to go from linebackers coach in the NFL to head coach somewhere in the Northeast.
If that's
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Yeah, I mean, eventually, obviously, you could be a coordinator in the NFL too.
Right. Yeah. It's just, to me, that stuff, because I had fans come out, oh, that was awesome to say. I'm like, brother, I've seen that rah-rah speech 1,000
And some of the players will shake their heads a little bit, but yeah. I don't know. I did kind of get a little motivated personally. I did. I understood the concept. The concept is, I was thinking about how Christian Wilkins kind of plays the game that way. You saw him run 30 or 40 yards down the field to make a tackle in the last game.
47 yards downfield. I counted it.
And he plays.
47 yards.
Yeah. The way he plays, and he plays like 95% of snaps, which is crazy for a man of his size.
Yeah.
It's as though someone in his family is in danger. And if I was playing football, I would like that approach. I think that would be a cool thing to have in your mind. You kind of have to go to a different place, as Jalen Phillips explains, especially in the fourth quarter when you're tired. He and Chubb and Wilkins. That's one thing the Dolphins have. He, Chubb, and Wilkins in particular, and Sealer. Those guys play with a lot of relentlessness, including deep into the game.
Yeah,
and that's an endearing quality. You don't want lazy guys on your defense.
I'll tell you another thing that I'm impressed with, that I like. Not impressed because I kind of expected it from him, and I don't expect this from him. Lately, Tua's been turning over the ball way too much. He has to limit those turnovers big time. But I love that he was hard on himself this week in the press conference, and then he was hard on himself also there on Hard Knocks, telling the teammates, that it's his fault. And it is his fault, by the way. He is forcing lately too many interceptions. I don't like it personally, and he's better than that, and he better play better than that. To me, those are the kind of things that I'm impressed with. Accountability. I like that.
They came out in the second half in the last game and threw deep for Waddle. After the game, there were indications that it was a miscommunication, that when Tua was releasing the ball, he thought Waddle was going to do one thing and he did another. But then when you kind of watched the sideline replay last night, Tua kind of indicated that he made a bad throw.
That's right.
So which is it? Is it miscommunication or a bad throw?
He made a bad throw. No, he made a bad throw. Just like throwing to Waddle when he's covered by 3 effing guys.
He also, the Dolphins have been bad on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. He short-armed Alec Ingold, who was wide open.
Well, you should be running on 3rd and 4th and 1 and stop abandoning the run. That's on McDaniel, too. You got to be better. You got to be more committed to the run. And I get your guards are out, but you got to find a way to convert some of those. And you can't put the pressure all in the passing game, which, by the way, hasn't been as sharp lately. So get back to relying. To me, that's one of the things that this passing game is missing, the dominant running game that you had early on in the season.
Jeff Wilson's going to play, and he's going to get some carries with Mostert a little banged up, Achane questionable. If Achane does play, maybe he has a limited rep situation. I agree with you. I'd like to see Jeff Wilson a little bit on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. These guys do the research. Those short passes, like the one to Tyreek down near the opponent's goal line in the last game, usually work. It was interesting, too, because Craycraft seemed to miss a block. And when McDaniel made the play call on Hard Knocks, he said, let's get a tight end. I thought he said, let's get a tight end in the game to throw a block for Tyreek. I don't know.
It was so odd, that play, because Craycraft was out of place, and then he had to go across to get in place to make the block, and he could not do it in time. So it was kind of I don't know if the spacing was right in that play. I'm not, these are the things that most of us aren't privy to, so we really don't know what went on. But the spacing in that play, if you go back and look at it, it was odd, Joe. It was
and Tyreek's hand was
Craycraft to make the play is the thing.
Tyreek's hand was hurting. I thought there was an indication that maybe Tyreek would be a decoy on the play.
Me too.
Yeah, so it's kind of like sometimes things don't necessarily line up perfectly. But
I'm really wondering, did he play Fortnite that night? Because he was really concerned about not being able to play Fortnite that night. And
Tyreek's funny.
Out of all things,
Sometimes it's hard to know if he's joking, but honestly, he's been really good to deal with. He's been good to deal with. Ramsey is fine. He's more bristly. Bristly, is that a word? He bristles more often.
Yeah, I think he's kind of short.
He's more prickly.
He's short, and I don't trust you media people. So here's my answer. That's it. He's that guy.
He always thinks we're coming at him with an angle when we're really not.
Right.
It could be just a very simple question.
He's the force field guy. You run into those players that have a force field on the entire time. And no matter what,
Javon Holland can be a little bit like that too. But I don't care. They're great players.
But
so
Javon
whatever.
will use his intelligence
Yeah.
and his smart-assness at times when somebody's trying to play him. He'll play you back a little bit too. I like that. He's smart. He's a really smart dude, bro. I like Javon Holland. I like how
he's a good player. Now let's get back to Tua for a second. Obviously he's had a great season.
Yeah, but
he was a little bit off.
I'm not happy lately. I'm not happy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's been a little bit off. Maybe the bye week contributed a little bit to the rust. Now we got some challenges. All right. Everyone thinks the Jets are going to lay down, right?
No.
And it's going to be hard for them to score points. But I wrote about in the Palm Beach Post the Jets defense. And here's some things that Tua has to go up against, right? A couple of corners who are really good in Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. A powerful interior defensive lineman in Quinnen Williams, who's going to be lined up over a banged-up Lester Cotton in all likelihood in Friday's game. A really good linebacker in Quincy Williams, Quinnen's brother, who causes problems in the run game. So short week, cold weather, right? It's going to be possibly 44 degrees at kickoff. Tough defense. Late season. This is, listen, the Jets, Washington, Baltimore.
Joe, play smart, dude. Stop turning over the goddamn ball. Stop having stupid mistakes. Connor Williams cannot have a pre-snap penalty like he had. Stop doing the things that allow the Carolina Panthers to take a 14-0 lead, that allow the Raiders to be in the game. You're playing the same kind of team. They have an offense that will make no impact now. The Dolphin defense has now taken another step with Jalen Ramsey. And if you don't have a quarterback, you're not going to score on this defense anymore. So really, the pressure is all on the offense. Dude, just take care of the football and you'll win the game because you'll score enough points. Maybe you won't score a lot because you're playing a great defense, but if you start turning over the ball, that's when you give life to these deadbeat teams. And that's what the Jets are. They're a deadbeat team with a great defense, but if you don't give them any turnovers, the game shouldn't be a problem, in other words. Don't you agree?
Now, listen, this game opened as a 7-point spread. It quickly moved to 10, in part because the Jets are playing a quarterback who is a journeyman who hasn't done anything in the NFL.
He's terrible.
Some kid from UConn and Middletown, Connecticut.
Well, I've watched Boyle play. I've watched him play with the Lions. He's bad, dude. Bad.
But here's the thing. Would it shock you if this was 13-9, 16-9?
No.
13-10 in the fourth quarter, right? So this could be a little bit of a tricky game, and I don't know. So, something weird about this, right? Amazon Prime, Black Friday. By the way, I want to tell your audience members something.
Wait a minute, Joe. Before you go to the special, would it be a tricky game if you don't turn over the ball? If you don't make the stupid mistakes?
Well, the Jets are really good at pass defense.
I get that.
But so listen, I'm making the point. You want to run the ball, right. But Raheem Mostert's banged up. Devon Achan's banged up. So what do? You give Jeff Wilson 20 carries? You probably don't have Robert Hunt. So it's a little tricky. It's not going to be easy for the Dolphins to move the ball.
Of course not.
And the guy stripped the ball from Tua. All right, it was a good play by the guy who stripped the ball from Tua. Though it wasn't necessarily like careless handling of the football into a fumble.
You talk about the dive? This has
you want him to slide, but he's trying to make the first down.
Brother, at the end of a game, the game is on the line, the playoffs or the Super Bowl, you dive. In the early part of a game against a crappy-ass team that you could score more points, you slide. You make the first down, fine, but you don't dive because you could have head trauma, you can jam your shoulder, you can jam your elbow, your wrist, or you fumble. You slide, there's a great chance you'll never get injured by sliding. There's a great chance you won't fumble because they know they really can't touch you at that moment. And if you look at the play over again, he still gets the first down if he slides, to be quite honest.
Probably right.
But if he doesn't get the first down, I can live with it. That's the new theme.
brother, I need you to live for the next play. Don't start doing stupid things that can take you out for weeks. And diving is easily a very injury type of play by Tua. That was a dumb play by Tua. And I'm Mr. Tua, okay? I'm Mr. Tua. But I'm the first guy to be objective about it and say, you're turning over the ball too much and you cannot dive, bro. You got to slide. You dive if it's the Super Bowl. You dive if it's the playoffs. You dive if the game is on the line. None of that was happening. You don't dive then. I'm sorry. That's
Seven,
that one.
7 games left. Hey, guys, chance to be MVP. Go out and win against good defenses. Go out and win against good teams. Huge opportunities. At Baltimore is a massive game late in the season. It's going to be chilly. I remember he said he went actually to Maryland, ironically, to train with his brother in the cold weather. So does this Dolphins offense travel into the cold on the road? There's a combination of factors here, too. The noise. Dolphins have not been good with the silent count in loud environments on the road. Jets fans will show up, even though they stink. Jets fans will show up. Now, listen, what percentage of your audience do you think has Amazon Prime? Probably like 75%, right?
I have no idea, bro.
You have Amazon Prime, right?
I've had Amazon Prime for 15 years.
Here's the thing. In Palm Beach County, you're not going to get this game on local broadcast. So if you're, for some reason, not in Broward or Dade and you don't have access to the local broadcast, I found out that you don't even need Amazon Prime. All you need is an Amazon account. Probably 90% of people, households in America, have Amazon accounts, right? So just log on to Amazon on your iPhone or iPad on Friday, or put the Amazon Prime app on your TV. And even if you don't pay for it, you can still watch the game. Just want to spread the word on that.
I just thought about it. I've had Amazon Prime over 20 years because I've been in my current house. I've been in my current house like 18 years, and I'm pretty sure I remember having it in the other house. So it's been over 20 years that I've had Amazon. It's the best deal in the world.
Of course, you get the television. Yeah, you get the television. And
Yeah.
I order something. It's at my house in 3 hours.
First of all, I only ordered it from the get-go because of Prime. And just that alone, saving on the shipping alone, would pay off for itself every year. Then they started adding all the other stuff they've added now, music and movies and all that.
Right.
And it's just an absolute, what you pay a year for it, it's a joke what you get in return, actually.
Now, some of the older folks are emailing me and they're saying, listen, I don't know how to work out this technology. Do you have some concerns about how so much sports programming is going towards the streaming? Or, I mean, if you're a grandma or grandpa out there, you got to ask your kids for help, right? You just got to ask them, listen, you got to set me up here.
Yeah, exactly. Because unfortunately, it's where we're going, dude. Whether it's digital platforms or digital currencies and crypto, everything will be tokenized. This is the direction that we're going in. And so, unfortunately, as you get older, you either adjust or you lose. You know what I mean? But everybody's going to, people will grow up this way. So it'll be easier for them to age in this way. But those that are already old, it's, people my age. People my age are terrified to talk about crypto, just like they're terrified about working an app. It's amazing.
Do you remember when we had VCRs and we would try to record an NFL game and we would set it up to record for 3 hours and you would be watching the VCR tape when you get home from like your kid's party or something? And then the last 3 minutes of the game didn't record. There was nothing worse than that.
How about this? I got a better one for you. You set it up to record, you go out, and there's an effing power surge in your house.
Oh, wow.
And then it reset everything, and your little VCR is just flashing, and it never recorded anything because it erased the memory of it. Because in those days, those things didn't have memories. So once it was restarted, everything got erased. So you set it to record, and it didn't record, and you got home, and you're like, oh, crap. Everything, the power surge reset. How about those days?
Back in 02 to 04, when I first covered the Dolphins, there was something called TiVo. You had to pay for the TiVo service to record things. Yep. And I remember watching the football games. It was a big deal. I could start and stop the play and go through. And that was kind of 20 years before you could the NFL Game Pass. Everything old is new again. My 11-year-old daughter, saw a record player at a store, and she didn't know what it was. What does this do? How does it work? So I ordered a record player. I'm looking at it right here on my, and
awesome.
a bunch of records. She's been playing records.
Yeah.
And
what are you gonna do? Hey,
it's got that like a crackle and crisp pop. It's a unique thing, isn't it? Do you ever play records? Do you have vinyl?
I still I have my Technique 1200 tables, man. Of course, yes. I have 2 of them, and I have all my records and all that good stuff. Yeah, I still have it, bro. I'm old, so of course I'm gonna have that stuff. One more thing before I let you go. One thing that looks like I'm gonna be wrong about. And I thought because they were gonna run the ball so much this year, it was all fun when he said 2,000 yards. But it looks like Tyreek Hill is going to get 2,000 yards because the running game is also not as dominant as it was early on in the season, as we were just talking about it. And so it looks like you're going to be writing an article about the first ever 2,000-yard wide receiver in an NFL season.
That's great. And kudos to Tyreek. Maybe he finishes in the top 3 in the MVP voting. I do want to note that I think Jalen Waddle has been a little underutilized. Yeah. And I get it. You traded a lot for Tyreek. You paid Tyreek a lot. He's the best receiver in the game. He's the most dangerous receiver in the game. But Jalen Waddle is really good too. And you saw when Hill was out, Waddle kind of stepped up his game. So I don't know. What do you think about maybe spreading it around just a little bit more and not having that focus on the 2,000 yards so much?
I have no problem with that. The only problem I have is Waddle. I need you to catch the ball a little bit more consistently.
Yeah. There's some drops. I think Hill leads the NFL in drops, though. So everybody has drops. Everybody has drops.
But you throw a hell of a lot more to Tyreek Hill. And so that's why I can understand why he has the drops. But you just said Waddle is underutilized, yet he still drops the ball too much. And so that's one thing that I would like to change. I thought the Craycraft thing was going to bring the balance they kind of needed because they were kind of figuring out who's the number 3. And like in the Cedric Wilson play where he screwed up and went upfield and it was a hot read and he didn't read it right, that's where Craycraft would have read it right and you would have maybe won that game that day. I think you do need balance. I think you do need to learn to spread it out. But what you also need, and here it goes again, I'm going to be fair. I love Tua. I believe in Tua. I've always felt he's a franchise stud player. But lately he has been turning over the ball, and at times he forces it to Tyreek. And as I told you earlier in this interview, he forced one into Waddle into triple coverage. Tua himself has to be a little bit more disciplined in not forcing the ball in certain situations, specifically to Tyreek and sometimes to Waddle. Please find the
I think he's going to play smartly on Friday. He understands the type of defense that he's facing. Before we go and read my articles in the Palm Beach Post, I have 2 good ones up there now. One about the Jets defense and one about Jalen Ramsey and the aura and swag that he has brought. He's sort of like the Tyreek Hill of the Dolphins defense. I want to do a real quick rapid fire, right? Don't overthink this. I'm just going to say this to you real quick and you give me your answer. One of these 3 walks away unsigned. Connor Williams, Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson. Who are you letting go?
Connor Williams.
Wow, very interesting. Because center is such an important position, and he's number 1 rated by Pro Football Focus. But I know you're worried about you think he can be replaced, and you're worried about the snaps. Okay, one more. At some point, you have to let one of these 3 go. Christian Wilkins, Javon Holland, Christian Wilkins, Javon. All right. So let's say Wilkins goes. You can only keep Javon Holland or Jalen Waddle.
They're keeping both.
Okay.
But
if you had to let one walk.
Oh, you always let the safety go over a receiver, bro. Yeah, no, you can find safeties. You cannot number 1 wide receivers are more important in the league of scoring offenses.
Holland is more likely to be overpaid. Someone would overpay him. I agree.
And from last time I checked, the guy that drafts found Minka and Holland. So maybe he knows something about safeties. That's what I'm going to say.
And Flores was involved in both of those decisions, to be fair. And Boyer. Flores and Boyer. Hey, listen, we got to give those two guys credit. They know defensive backs. Flores and Boyer, no defensive backs.
Well, I'm going to go with the guy that's been here that got X and all the other guys. And then while they're gone, he'll go. And if Cam Smith turns into that, those other two guys aren't here. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to lean the other way. I'm going to lean to Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen and Chris Greer.
90% chance Ogba's gone next year.
Oh,
what's the percentage chance X is not on the team?
He's done
over under 75.
2 years ago, I told you.
Yeah,
2 years ago, I told you Byron Jones would be cut last offseason.
Yeah.
2 years ago, I told you that X will be cut 2 years.
And X is playing well.
And X is playing well, but you can't keep everybody.
Yeah, I know.
So next year, they won't pay Ogba. That'll be off. They won't pay X. That'll be off salary. They won't play Christian Wilkins. Will not be paid next year. He'll be gone.
Oh, I forgot Phillips too. They got a lot of guys to pay. They got to pay. Between
they
Phillips, Waddle, and Holland, you probably lose one. And then between the three linemen, you probably lose one.
You pay tackles, you pay tackles, shutdown corners, number one wide receivers, pass rushers, and QBs.
Yeah.
After that.
So that would tell you no on Robert Hunt, though, unless he takes the hometown discount.
You could, or you say, let's keep Hunt, let's go find another center, and then they have all their picks this year. So they're going to have a chance at getting a center in that first or second rounds now. And that's where the centers go, the good centers and there's only usually a couple in the draft. There's never really a ton, but they will have an opportunity in that first, second round. I bet you they go center. There's no doubt in my mind that they go center. I don't think they let Robert Hunt go, bro. He is such an athletic guard. And in this system, he is priceless, bro.
He's really good. Last thing is the Fort Lauderdale Airport parking garages. Are they all going to be full today when I get there? Wednesday, Thanksgiving.
Oh, hell yeah, Joe. Oh, hell yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to go to the airport now. I'm going to go to the airport.
I want to go to those park and flies instead.
Okay.
Save money because those bastards will charge you more now on this weekend. And you park on the ones that are right next to the airport, and they shuttle you in, and you save yourself some money, doggy. Even though we know that the Palm Beach Post is going to pay for it, but still.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, my friend. Be safe in your travels.
Take care. See you, bud.
You got it. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe, and of course, reach out to our friends at Essential Moving Experts, 305-602-8369. Call my guy Sean Williams. All right. All right, send him a link. All right. Ira's going to join us at 12:30 here. So we'll get Ira in. We'll have some fun. I didn't think I was going to get Ira today. I was pretty close to, thinking that we were going to wrap it up. Give me my 3A Graphics sports calendar here while we work our way to Ira Winderman here on Le Programme. 3A Graphics, Alan Blanco, just an ass kicker. Let me tell you, you need some new uniforms for your business. Maybe you're having some kind of a picnic or get-together. Maybe you're traveling somewhere, you want to print some shirts. Family, fantasy football, school. Maybe you run a school, you need uniforms. Whatever it is, folks. Custom printing and embroidery. Call 3A Graphics, 786-618-1443. They know how to get it done, folks. Tonight, 7 o'clock, Panthers and Bruins. Bruins are favored by 1.5 goals. Over and under 6. 7:30 tip-off. Heat are at the Cavs. Heat are favored by 2. Cavs over and unders 213. Tomorrow, you got 3 games starting off at 12:30. Packers at Lions. Lions favored by 7.5. 4:30, Commanders at Cowboys. Cowboys favored by 11. 8:20, Niners at Seahawks. Niners are the only road team that are favored by 7. Over and under is 43. And on Friday at 1 o'clock, we will start our pregame coverage. 3 o'clock kickoff between the Dolphins and the Jets, and the Dolphins are favored by 10
points in that game. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Call Alan Blanco. They know how to get it done. 786-618-1443. All right. Perdomo Cigars, by the way, a proud sponsor of our program, and we love Nick Jr., great people out there. Arthur Kemper is just an absolute ass kicker. I'm telling you, I can't say enough about the Perdomo family, Janine, everybody. They just do an awesome job. It's a family-oriented business. And whether it's the 30th anniversary that is finally out now, I tried it a few weeks back. That thing is delicious. The 20th anniversary, the 10th anniversary, the Habano Bourbon Barrel Aged, the Estate Selección, the Lot 23, the Double Aged 12-year vintage, and I love the Maduro, folks. And if you haven't gone to the Perdomo Lounge in the Perdomo factory in Miami Gardens, go check it out. 5150 Northwest 167th Street. And by the way, we have Perdomo lounges all over the country. In Alabama, in Hoover, Alabama, Cigars and More, you can find a Perdomo cigar lounge. In Georgia, at Haram, Georgia, the D&D Company, you can find a Perdomo lounge. In West Virginia, at Hurricane, West Virginia, Liberty Square, the Almost Havana Cigar Lounge. In Texas, San Antonio, you can find it at Club Humidor, Thousand Oaks. In Tennessee, in Clarksville, you can take that last train to Clarksville. You can find Up and Smoke Cigars in Tennessee. 109 Hacha Lane. Hacha. That boy Hacha. So check out the nearest Perdomo lounge to you and tell them that Big O sent you. And try it. So there you go. Dolphins done well drafting defensive tackles. I'll let Greer find us another one. He'll find more. He'll find all kinds of positions. That's why I'm not worried. Yes, sir.
Joe Pompliano does the business side. Sent out a thing on the Black Friday game. Do you know how much they're charging for a 30-second commercial?
I'm going to say $4 million.
No.
Good $2 million.
Though. Good call. No, Thursday night they charge $440. For Black Friday, it's $880.
880,000?
Yep.
Oh.
But here's the one thing that Amazon is going to do. They're going to use their new ad strategy called audience-based creative. For example, Bose is going to show 3 different ads using Amazon's ad technology. The first ad features Joe Burrow and will be delivered to non-Prime members, while the other 2 Bose ads will feature different products and be shown only to Prime members based on their Amazon Prime search history.
Oh.
So they're going to have commercials
based
on your search history throughout. Okay. And those commercials you can click on and go and purchase the item at that time.
Wow. Okay. So mine will not have any Bose. It'll all be about music. It'll be Bitcoin hat or Dolphins hat or what's more of the stupid shit that I buy on Amazon? Funko Pops. I mean, my search history is a joke, bro.
So what they're going to do is, as you're watching it, you can click it and put it in your cart, so you don't have to leave the broadcast. And then at the end of the broadcast, you check out, I guess, is how they're going to do it. Doesn't really say, but I'm
Jeff
guessing.
Bezos, dude. You're the man. You're the man. You are the man. I got to tell you. And not because you're banging Lauren Sanchez, but you're the man. Oh, wow. That's smart. But the commercials on my search engine are going to be an absolute joke, dude. I just buy stupid shit on Amazon. I don't buy anything important, actually. Tua getting paid this offseason. Actually, he will not get paid this offseason. They can agree to the contract, and then the following year he'll get it, and he still won't get a big salary either, Eric. He'll have a big signing bonus, but his salary really won't be a big salary for 3 years. So don't allow the media to fill your head full of crap. Okay? It really won't damage the Dolphins for 3 more years. This year's not an issue. Next year is his 5th-year option. The following year will be the first year of his contract, and they'll lower that number down drastically. So it'll be the following year after that it really kicks in and it's big salaries, and then you're going to have less to work with. So I get it that my man Omar Kelly has been trying to scare people, just like he used to scare people irresponsibly by saying the cap does not exist, because that's what he said for years, not just on this show, which you can go back and check it out because the recordings are all there. Okay. Many times he said the cap doesn't exist. It's phony money, all that stuff. And now he is throwing that out there. And I love Omar, but I will call his bullshit while he was on the show here with me or away. It doesn't matter. Okay. And it's not BS. It's just silliness that he believes, because he literally believed that stuff, that the cap wasn't real. And now that he's figured out that he's dead ass wrong, he's actually saying the cap is real, but then he wants to scare it into you like it's going to happen next year. And that's just not true. Okay. It will catch up to you. It is real, but they're still a couple of years away from it really choking them out, that they have limitations. And again, unlike what Omar will say or anybody else, whatever, they won't remind you that they actually happen to have a front office that knows how to make trades, that knows how to find undrafted players, that knows how to draft players, that knows how to make trades and drafts, all of those things. And they know how to unearth talent in every way, shape, and form. So they, conveniently also leave that out because sensationalism sells. I don't need sensationalism on here. That comes with sports automatically. Don't need to create it. But we have people in the media that unfortunately like to create it because that's how they create clicks and views. And maybe that's how they keep their jobs. I don't answer to anybody. Don't care. Not worried about it. So I'll just call it like I see it. So there is no cap hell, and he's not getting paid $300 million next year. So wherever you got your information, Eric, you're getting bad information, and you're spreading bad information, which is something that happens in America nowadays for all things. I've noticed it. Politics, crypto, whatever. There are so many of you sports that are so misinformed that all you do is just create telephone, what we used to play as a kid, and just spread the misinformation from one person to another. All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little Miami Heat. Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report is right now.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All right, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right, I didn't know you started smoking cigars.
No, but I know my internet connection is terrible. So if you want Sean to call me, feel free to have him give me a holler anytime.
Sounds good right now, dude. Man, let's keep it this way. We're
okay.
Good. I wrote it for many years. I'm going to keep writing it the other way now, right? When you're right, you're right, and when things turn around, and now you're going to be wrong, or you're being proven otherwise. I'm watching an aggressive Bam every night, man. I'm really proud of him offensively. 23 points the other night, super efficient. I'm really impressed, and I hope it continues and he doesn't, revert back to the passive Bam. But this is how they're going to have a chance to maybe surprise. They already shock us as it is in the playoffs. But if you want to ultimately shock us by winning it all, they're going to need a Bam that wants to be a superstar. And I'm watching a guy that wants to be a lead dog. I like it. I like it a lot.
I don't want to rain on any parades, Hero, but I will say this. The Bam we have seen is the Bam without Tyler Hero. So when he's out there, there's him and there's Jimmy Butler as a 1-2 punch, and he's been very effective with that. The question becomes, will he become deferential again when Tyler returns and the Heat can't afford that? That's the thing is, Bam looks around, he says, okay, there's me, there's Jimmy, that's about it. I've got to at least do half of the heavy lifting. I think what happens when Tyler is there, Bam gets so caught up on being a facilitator, on assists, on moving the ball, on being more than just a scorer that he steps back. So, Big O, I agree with you. What's going on now is very encouraging, but I have to see it with the third element of the Heat's debris to believe it. And I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. What I would love to see is for Tyler to come back and say, you know what, Bam, you've been so good. I'm going to cut my shot attempts down by 2 or 3. I want you to get those instead. But Big O, you know Tyler Hero. And we've even seen on Tyler's rehab workout videos that he's doing, he's talking about wanting to be an all-NBA player. Do you think Tyler is willing or able to pull back a little?
I don't care. And that's my problem here. I think we need to kind of rip the Band-Aid off here.
Okay.
I think Eric Spoelstra needs to have a little tough love here and do what's best for the Miami Heat. And by the way, I think Duncan Robinson is now becoming the guy that also helps carry the load, because he's also looking like, when he's talking himself up and saying he's a bad mofo, I think he's feeling himself a lot more too. And so for me personally, I don't care what Tyler feels about, but I'm putting your ass on the bench. You're coming off the bench from here on out. That's what's really best for this team.
That's big.
And that's what's best for Bam. Because
that's really interesting, Big O.
That keeps Bam in the thinking of, let me stay Studley because me and Jimmy need to carry it, and Duncan, and then I can bring Caleb and Tyler off the bench together and have a killer 1-2 punch and have Tyler finish games with me, which is what you're going to need overall. But I think this team becomes better by actually putting Tyler on the bench instead.
And that's all well and good. And from a basketball and strategic and analytic standpoint, I could not agree more. At the start of the season, I thought Tyler Hero as a potential 6th man. He won the 6th Man of the Year award, so we've shown he can do that. I totally agree with you. But Big O, NBA basketball is about more than analytics, more than rotation. It's about ego. It's about managing personalities. Eric Spoelstra might be as good as anyone out there doing that. But do you think Tyler Hero is going to go willingly to the bench? Because I do not. I do not think. Remember last year, before last season, he said going into last season, I'm an NBA starter. Pat Riley told him, prove to me you're an NBA starter. Tyler did. Tyler then got off to a great individual start this season, even as the Heat were losing. So Big O, again, you've managed personalities. You keep Sean Stanley in check. You handle all your advertisers like our good friends at Acura of Pembroke Pines so well. But managing Tyler Hero, you have yet to manage someone who makes $30 million a year. That's a completely different animal. That's what makes Eric Spoelstra great at what he does. I got to be honest, Big O.
I barely make $30 a year. So, I mean,
exactly.
What the hell?
A little different category. But I'm not so sure Pat Riley, with his hard edge ways, could manage this. So if Eric Spoelstra can convince Tyler Hero to play as a reserve, God bless Eric Spoelstra. It'll be one of his great coaching jobs. I don't think that's doable. I don't think when you get Tyler Hero in your room and you give him reasons A, B, and C, which all will make sense why you can help this team, Tyler's going to go, yeah, no, I want to be all-NBA, and all-NBA doesn't come off the bench. I don't think it's doable, even though it might be in the team's best interests.
Okay. I mean, I get that, but I really don't care about his feelings. And quite personally, if he gets all bent out of shape, I'm going to say, my brother, you were on the trading block and nobody wanted your ass. So, you want to act like a petulant child now? Listen, this is what's best for the team. This is not the Tyler Heats. This is the Miami Heat. And we have to do what's best for the team. So if you want to be a dick about it, well, then it's time to be an even bigger dick about it and say, this is how it's going to be. You got your money. You got your money. You've had opportunities. You haven't been dependable. We need to do what's best for the team. I am tired of having to hear about Tyler Hero's feelings, dude. You know what I mean? And when I watch Manu Ginobili, who's way better than Tyler Hero ever will be, and he was willing to do it, the ultimate sacrifice for what's better for the team, he's not better than Manu Ginobili. He's not he hasn't earned the right to get whatever he wants, put it that way.
All right, but let's go in our Acura of Pembroke Pines Wayback Machine. Let's roll back a month, okay? Ira Winderman and I believe it was, Orlando Alzagari was sitting here on this very same format on one of our Acura of Pembroke Pines reports saying how great Tyler Hero is playing, saying that everything he got done and how he has improved as a player. Now, things change. They go, I agree. Bam has become more of an efficient player, getting more done, so I understand that. But we're still at a point right now where I don't know if Tyler has done anything to deserve not being with this team and not being in the starting lineup. So I think that's an issue also. In other words, what has Tyler done
He doesn't stay healthy. He doesn't stay healthy.
Okay.
He's unreliable. His body is unreliable. So I can never count on him to stay in the lineup. Why do I have to bend over backwards for somebody that never finishes a season? And I've proven over and over again as a team that I can reach the pinnacle without him. I don't need Tyler Hero to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't need Tyler Hero to get to the NBA Finals. I don't need Tyler Hero to be a starter. I mean, everything's been proven that you don't need Tyler Hero to be the best you can be. So why the hell do I need to put you in the starting unit? I think we'll be better by putting you as a reserve. I'm sorry, Tyler. You're still going to finish games. You're just not starting them. The part I don't understand is he has nothing to stand on to say, I deserve this, because you're never there for the team.
Well, he was at the start of the season playing at a level we haven't seen. What I would say, Big O, is this. I think you can massage this by saying, come back as a reserve. Let's get your minutes up. You haven't had full cardio. You've been in the walking boot, just got out this week. Slow play it. Maybe you get the results where everyone is comfortable. Again, that's what makes Eric Spoelstra such a good coach. Matter of fact, I'll give you a comparison for what you're mostly talking about. This reminds me of Mike McDaniels and Coach Flo. Coach Flo was unbending and lost his players. Eric Spoelstra, I think you would agree, is more like Mike McDaniel in that he works with his players and gets them on the same page.
Yes.
So, yes, I think that
to a certain extent. What people don't realize is Spo will reach a point, and then he's going to tell you, "Get the hell out of my face already." At that point.
All right, but I don't think Tyler's get out of my face.
No, not at all. Please.
So I think you can massage this. I think it's a very good point. Now, if you're asking me this, Ira, forget everything you know about personal politics and all that. Is the Miami Heat better with Tyler Hero on the bench? Big O, I would have told you that our first Acura of Pembroke Pines report this season. I wrote in the preseason, I can give you a much better rotation, including, I said, with a Duncan Robinson type in the starting lineup, because you need that three-point spacing. I'll give you one other possibility. What about Tyler Hero in the starting lineup in place of Kyle Lowry? You keep Duncan Robinson in there, you keep Jimmy in there, you keep Hayward as a defender, you keep Bam, and you go with that dynamic. So maybe that's where you make it work, because Big O, if you're talking about past success, the Heat were very successful with Kyle Lowry off the bench the second half of the season and in the playoffs last year. So maybe that's your compromise down the road as well.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see if you do that with Lowry. That kind of would make sense. But again, the whole Bam thing that you brought up is
and that's a great point. Yes, he defers too much. You have three high-level scorers in there who want their shots. Bam all of a sudden is standing at the elbow, facilitating the pick and roll, and when he rolls, not getting the ball back. So there's something to be said for too many cooks in the starting lineup. My perfect scenario has always been Tyler as sixth man. He was great at that. He was the best sixth man in the league. But Tyler Hero wants to be all NBA. Doesn't want to be Lou Williams. Doesn't want to be Jamal Crawford. maybe Spo can sort of make that work and massage it, but it's going to take a lot of massaging.
I do you really look at Ginobili like he was a 6 guy, or do you just remember him being a great freaking player that hit clutch shots, that was just outstanding and a Hall of Famer? I don't look at the 6-man stuff when I look at Manu Ginobili. I look at a champion. That's kind of the way I look at him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think on those rosters,
the fact that he came off the bench, that doesn't even resonate to me. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever.
But I think on that roster, he looked at David Robinson and said, he's one of the all-time greats. He's better. He looked at Tim Duncan and said, he's one of the all-time greats. He's better. He looked at Tony Parker and said, he's probably one of the all-time greats. He's better. I'm not so sure that Tyler Hero thinks Bam Adebayo's better than him. I'm not so sure that Tyler Hero thinks Jimmy Butler's better than him. Look, the swag that he came in with on draft night is part of what makes Tyler Hero Tyler Hero. So you have to take the whole package. I don't begrudge that, because if Tyler ever loses that edge, he's not the same player. This is all about managing personalities.
Speaking of edge, Triple J, boy, that kid is all edge, brother. And, you know, I know the whole Dwayne Wade comparisons, but they're all right. This is the best and most mature player you have drafted. I'm not saying he's going to be Dwayne Wade. I'm saying it's the same dude. It's the guy that is not fazed by coming into this league. He's ready, bro.
And you know what? I'll give you a different comparison. I'm going to give you a comparison of Shane Battier as a rugged sort of small forward, power forward who defends, who can hit threes, who is so damn smart and knows the game. That's almost the comparison I'd make. Not from a draft position, but just what he can be as a complementary player. If you're going to ask me right now, Ira, is Jaime Jaquez Jr. ever going to be All-NBA? Probably not. Is he going to be an All-Star? Quite possibly not. But again, let's go back. Matter of fact, since you've already removed the tag and we can use it elsewhere, Jaime Jaquez can be a super role player, Big O. That's what he can be. So maybe he's taking over the mantle from Bam in that regard.
Yes. I love his craftiness. I love his intelligence. I love his motor. Obviously, no, this kid, man. Just watching him the other night. I mean, he makes it. You know, sometimes you think that, you know, the regular season early on in the NBA, it's kind of you're going through the motions.
Yeah.
But he just makes it much more fun to watch.
Yes.
You know, the early part of the season, because they found a gem, dude. They found an absolute gem. This guy should have gotten way higher in the draft now.
No, I'm gonna disagree with Orlando Alzagari again for this reason.
Wow.
I'm gonna disagree for this reason. Teams always draft on the BS of potential. We're gonna create something. He's gonna be great down the road. The Heat, as a win now team at number 18, said, you know what? We're gonna probably lose Max Strus and Gabe Vincent in the next couple of weeks in free agency. We need a play now player. So when you look at the players drafted ahead of Jaime Jaquez Jr., you can make an argument they have more upside. But you know what? Sometimes upside never arrives. With Jaime Jaquez, the Heat said we have a plug-and-play player. Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes all you need is your River Craycraft, who's going to be solid enough that when you need to call on someone, he'll make the play. That's what the Heat did, is they got someone who is solid, can step in on the second unit, make Jimmy and Bam and the rest of the players better. Upside, hey, I am so sick of sitting with draft gurus and talking about a player's upside, because in fact, I'll give you one, and I'll give you a comp to Jaime Jaquez, who was supposed to be Jaime Jaquez based on upside, okay? Jaime Jaquez played 4 years in UCLA, arrived this way. There's a kid who played 1 year at Duke who was supposed to be this.
You were going there.
Justice Winslow. Jaime Jaquez is everything that he thought Justice Winslow would be.
Yes.
Where's Justice Winslow right now? I'll tell you, Big O. He's playing for the Toronto Raptors G League team. So you can tell me about potential, and you can tell me about this freshman from Duke who Mike Krzyzewski loves and is going to have endorsement deals right away. I'll take the bird in hand knowing who can get it done right now, and that's Jaime Jaquez Jr. at the moment for the Miami Heat.
Yeah. Although Jaquez from the get-go, his shot has always looked better. That's the one thing that kid, It was all his all-around game. You were
Mhm.
always like, yeah, that offensive part of his game, he needs to polish that up a
Right.
little bit, you know? But, yeah, and I
But
like
again,
that.
that's potential. Again, everyone
Yeah.
said Justice Winslow eventually will get his shot right. Well, eventually never came. Jaime Jaquez arrived at this type of shooter who you can rely at this reliability level. That's the difference. Sometimes you just need ready to go. It's like the Dolphins now.
Yeah.
When you're in win now mode, you need players who can contribute now. The Dolphins aren't looking at anyone and going, oh, just wait, 3 years down the road, this kid's going to be the bomb diggity. No, we need the moment now. Big O, isn't it fun to have teams in this town, except maybe for the Marlins, who are living in the moment? When the Panthers lost players this offseason, they brought in veteran players. You might not know who they are, but all of a sudden you can see, hey, in the moment, this guy, the guy they got from the Rangers, the big defenseman, 2 goals the other day, he helps him in the moment. The Dolphins bring in guys who can help him in the moments. The Heat, the same thing. It's really fun to live in the moment, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And by the way, I was there Monday night. The place was packed for the Edmonton Oilers. And I know they have one of the great players in the game, but the team sucks. They had 5 wins. They're a bad team. And in South Florida, we're not like super intelligent, like, oh no, but it's Connor McDavid, we got to go.
Right.
And the place was packed. And what Viola and Sifu have done is what Arison had to do decades ago. They paid the dues, they stayed the course, they paid for the players, the coaches, they made all the trades, they stayed the course, and they kept adding players, and the town kept seeing their dedication. And it's paid off for the Panthers, man.
Absolutely.
They finally are turning that corner like the Heat did decades ago when, we weren't a basketball town. We didn't give a shit about basketball at all. I don't think people at this point, you're almost taking it for granted what the Heat have accomplished and how they have forced us to become a basketball town, and how then Larinaga has come in following, by the way, the guy from Florida State that went,
Leonard
Hamilton,
right,
who did a fantastic job kind of getting it going. And then obviously Larinaga's taking it to another level. I don't think people realize, people that are 30 and 40 years old and 25, I don't think they realize the conversion that it took for the Heat to make this a basketball town. And I'm giving these people credit over there. They're making us a hockey town too, on top of all of that. Kudos to those ownership groups, because they truly stayed dedicated to it, to then, wait it out for us to come around.
I totally agree. And even what Jim Larinaga's done at UM, he's living in the moment. Yes, he's taking advantage of the transfer portal. He's bringing in win-now-ready international players, but that's what you want. The Marlins, Sandy Alcantara is going to be even better down. Well, maybe he won't. And maybe they won't go anywhere. The other teams in town, even FAU, are living in the moment. It's kind of fun. Hell, even your Inter Miami, what they did with Messi, and they didn't stop there. And then they went after Suarez and other players, living in the moment. No. We are in an era in South Florida where no one is talking about tomorrow. Thankfully and finally.
Patrick Kane now, they're talking Patrick Kane to go there. You know what I mean? And meanwhile, the poor writers that cover the Marlins have to talk about how great their minor league system is, and how their AA affiliate won this or that. And we hear more minor league stories about the major league team than we actually hear about the major league team. And meanwhile, all the other teams and programs are committed to winning now and all that. It's just
absolutely,
it really is impressive. When I went on Monday night on a game like that, I was like, wow, they did it, dude. This is freaking November and the place is buzzing. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. The last time I saw that was the year after the Stanley Cup at Miami Arena.
No, it's the perfect it's the perfect Thanksgiving story, that we could be thankful that these teams are giving their all in the moment. Absolutely.
All right, what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel? And should I take the Heat -2 tonight on the Hard Rock app?
Well, Cleveland has a lot of injuries. They're playing in the second night of a back-to-back. Kevin Love is out, but it's not like he's been the major driving force. I feel good about the Heat tonight after a day of rest. They all look comfortable at the shoot-around this morning, for whatever that means. Cleveland has a lot of injuries. Looks like Donovan Mitchell is going to sit again. Looks like they're going to be out a couple of regulars. They really pushed hard last night against Philly. I think this could be a very good road spot for the Heat. Not that I give out gambling tips.
Okay. All right. And what do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel?
Spoke to Kevin Love. He's not here today because of personal reasons about his Cleveland tenure. And he said, man, I wish we would have kept Kyrie Irving. We could have kept that thing going. But he said in today's James Harden NBA, everyone wants to leave. You can't maintain continuity. And I spoke to Max Strus and Doug Robinson about each other and how they made each other better. They both profited off of it, and they're both thriving right now. So those are already up and posted at sunsentinel.com. And at your doorstep tomorrow, we'll have more coverage, including tonight, Heat versus Cavaliers.
And I just made the bet. Took the Heat -2.5 right there on the Hard Rock.
I won't get paid next week.
Thanks. It's all right. The best thing is the live part, because then it just like Cleveland will go on a little run, and then all of a sudden I'll get 2.5 or 3+. I'll be at plus instead of me giving points, and then I'll double or triple my bet, and then end up killing it. Live app is the best way. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Ira, as always, thank you. Enjoy the basketball. Safe travels, my friend. We will catch up next week, and happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Catch you next week in our Acura of Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great Ira Winderman and our Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report. And we are here at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on out. We got a large selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. The lot is overloaded. We got all the new cars out here, folks. 2023, 2024 models. Come on out here. One of the things that Larry Schlossberg makes sure is that they have the largest selection in town. That way you can pick the car you want, the color you want, the model you want, the style you want. But more importantly, you're going to get the price you want at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Right, Frankie Fresco. Happy Thanksgiving, sir. Thank you for the love. A little love on the super chat. And remember to also, you can send in through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And, of course, you can make a Bitcoin donation, which when you make a Bitcoin donation like Matthew Toffler or Frankie Fresco or Robert Viade or Stephen M. have made, you make my day when you do that. Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Always appreciate you all out there as always. What do we got on the chat board here? Big O, my sister was looking for a Panthers jersey for my little niece. I told her to go to Caneswear. She found one and used your code. Caneswear should be a staple for every South Florida fan. Thank you, Hunter Butler. Appreciate you. And yes, use our code Big O10. Let's see. What else do we have? All the people that were clamoring Cam Whitmore, what it may seem like that potential was going to ever be reached. Look at Jovic, Winslow, you're saving. Yeah. Big O, with the NFL always striving towards parity, do you think the NFL will ever have a separate cap designated and or limit for veteran QBs? No, don't think so. They will keep everything together because that way they can separate the revenue sharing and then they can control everything. And the NFL owners can control the players that way better. Raekwon will re-sign for nothing or he's gone too. Yeah, he either signs or I like that. That one I would agree with, Eric. That one I would say that because you there's no reason to offer Raekwon Davis any big money. In fact, I would probably try to search for somebody better. I would actually search for somebody consistent is what I would do over Raekwon. How about that? Nothing against Raekwon. He looks like a nice guy, but he has never lived up to his draft status. He flashes, and it's never a consistency thing, and that drives my ass crazy. Okay? Got to be honest. Did you see Argentina beat Brazil? First time they ever beat Brazil in Brazil.
Argentina. Messi did not score. But overall, okay, the best part was, by the way, did you hear about the fight? Well, Brazilians and Argentine fans were fighting for 27 minutes. They delayed the start of the game for 27 minutes until they, could settle down the fighting. So did you hear about the kids in the stands? Ton of kids in the stands wearing Messi jerseys. Barcelona and Inter Miami jerseys. That's pretty freaking cool. You're in Brazil, and there are Argentina Messi fans wearing Inter Miami Messi jerseys in Brazil. That's pretty cool. And Jorge Mas and the Mas family must be like, yes, because that's marketing at its ultimate peak, dude. You're doing things that they don't do in America. You're just not going to see, regular NFL and NBA jerseys so common out there in Europe. Are there some? Of course. Is there people walking around with a LeBron and a Steph Curry jersey out in Europe somewhere? Sure. But not the amount of Messi jerseys that are going to be walking around from Inter Miami. Because that game is truly worldwide. Even though basketball is a worldwide sport, right? And football has some fans worldwide, right? Basketball is played worldwide. But there's nothing like soccer, like football. And that's the beauty of what Inter Miami just did with the Messi thing. They have just put they're the first MLS club to put themselves on the world map. Pretty freaking cool. Okay? I thought that was, Brazil, by the way, was down to 10 men. They had a red card also. So that's another reason why they lost 1-0. But the Inter Miami jerseys in Brazil for Messi, very, very, very cool. Because that's just not something that you normally would buy. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of crazy. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit about this Scott Mitchell story. Did you hear about this Scott Mitchell story? It's kind of crazy. So Scott Mitchell, for you youngins out there, was a former Miami Dolphin quarterback. And so Scott Mitchell, at one point, he went 5-1 for the Dolphins while Marino was out with an Achilles injury. And it got so crazy that even Greg Cody, and sorry, Greg, that I got to mention it, but he'll never live it down. He said to trade Marino and keep Scott Mitchell, okay, which a lot of us lost our minds at that moment. And poor Greg Cody, he hasn't ever been able to live that down. To be quite, for us older people, you younger people, you have no idea, you don't care. Us older people, it's like, Greg, it's kind of like poor Linda Robertson when we had Hurricane Andrew. She came out with some crazy-ass article that the Miami Hurricanes should change their name. Hey, we all have those moments. We say things we regret. But Scott Mitchell, he went and saw this Barry Sanders new documentary that they have, right? And in the documentary is kind of the term that we use for Marino all the time, right? Marino didn't win because he didn't what? He didn't have a defense, didn't have a running game, all that kind of stuff. That's what we say a lot with Marino, right? Well, what do say? Well, Barry Sanders didn't win it because he had Scott Mitchell as a quarterback and the team wasn't good enough and all that, right? So this is his quotes, okay? This is a long-ass quote. I just watched #ByeByeBarry on Amazon Prime. It wasn't a very pleasant experience. I was Barry Sanders' teammate for 5 years. I had a front row seat to some of the most amazing plays in NFL history. He will never have an equal as a pure runner in the NFL. I could argue there were several running backs that were more complete, but I won't. Barry was great. However, I am so tired of hearing how I was the reason that Barry Sanders never won a Super Bowl. I'm so tired of hearing how I was not a good QB. My only response is, F you! And that includes Eminem and Jeff Daniels. I can't even begin to tell you what a disappointment it is to hear my own coach, Wayne Fontes, who went out in free agency and actually pursued me to the point of begging me to come to Detroit, say that he wanted Joe Montana or Warren Moon, and that the only thing that was missing from the team was winning a Super Bowl as a quarterback. A little support from the coach might have gone a long way. Wayne never had my back. So you all know in 95, we started the season 0-3. Wayne called a meeting with 15 players and asked what was wrong. The response was, you brought this QB here, let him throw the ball. We changed our entire offense over a bye week. We played the defending Super Bowl champion 49ers on Monday Night Football. After a bye week and an 0-3 record, we won. I went on to have the fourth best season of a QB at the time in NFL history. 4,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, 2 wide receivers with over 100 catches and over 1,000 yards, and Barry Sanders also rushed for 1,500 yards. We simply took what the defense was giving us. Unfortunately, the following year, I had severe injury to my rib cage that required a 12-minute shot with a 4-inch needle just to practice every day. It turned out to be a bad year. Wayne Fontes was fired. More importantly, Tom Moore was fired as our offensive coordinator, and he took the offense we developed to Indy to introduce it to Peyton Manning. And obviously the rest is history. And at that moment, Tom Moore wasn't what Tom Moore became in hindsight. So what he's saying starts to make a little more sense, doesn't it? The way he brings it up and breaks it down. And we know, those of us that are old enough and lived it, we know the history, and we're like, you start putting one and one together and you're like, well, dude, what Scott Mitchell is saying doesn't necessarily, it's not crazy. Actually kind of makes sense. Tom Moore was one of the kick-ass coordinators of all time. So then he goes, and he doesn't finish there, okay? So Tom Moore was fired as our offensive coordinator. He took the offense we developed to Indy and introduced it to Peyton Manning. In return, I ended up with Bobby Ross. What a disaster. How many Super Bowls did Joe Montana win after he left the 49ers? How many Super Bowls did Warren Moon win or even play in? 0. Dan Marino in 1 Super Bowl. Peyton Manning was horrible in his first 4 years in the playoffs. 0 wins and 1 TD and 2 interceptions. It was 9 years before Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl. The reality is, it's hard to win a Super Bowl unless you're Tom Brady. Steve Young is not in the Hall of Fame or a Super Bowl winner if he is traded from Tampa to the Niners. Is that true or not? It's completely true. Brett Favre is not in the Hall of Fame or a Super Bowl winner if he's stuck with Jerry Glanville in Atlanta. Bottom line, hashtag Barry Sanders had everything in Detroit. Everybody loved him. Everything was built for Barry to succeed. In his 10-year career, he won 1 playoff game, and the only reason he didn't win more was everyone else was the problem. How many yards did Barry have in the playoffs in 94, 95, 97? I'll give you a hint. Not very many. We're all to blame for not winning a Super Bowl in Detroit, even Barry Sanders. I will believe it until I die that if we've been given more time and patience with the offense, we had the talent and we could have made a deep run in the playoffs and competed to win a Super Bowl. He's pissed, and he has a reason to be pissed. And a lot of the stuff, in hindsight, those of us that lived it and watched it, and everything he's saying, that you do lose, you fire Wayne Fontes, and those were the best years up until now. Those were the best years for Detroit. The Man Campbell year right now is the best moment in Detroit history since Wayne Fontes. And then Tom Moore at that time, we didn't know what it was like to fire Tom Moore at that moment. We do after watching him in Indy and everything else he did, we then learned that Tom Moore was a king-size badass. So he loses that. And we see what Brian Flores and Tua and Mike McDaniel and Tua. Tom Moore with Scott Mitchell, Bobby Ross with Scott Mitchell. There's something to that. And that offense, Herman Moore, Johnny Morton, Barry Sanders, I mean, it was loaded. And what's the other receiver? Johnny Morton was the third receiver. It was Herman Moore and Jesus, why am I brain farting now? Somebody help me out. Herman Moore, because this was mid-90s, 95, 96. Johnny Morton was the third receiver. Who was the Brett Perriman. Thank you. UM, dude. God, that was dumb on my part. That was a hell of a receiving core, dude. Herman Moore was a monster. Brett Perriman was excellent. And Johnny Morton was a fantastic slot receiver. They all fit their roles perfectly. And Barry Sanders and Scott Mitchell did have a great year. So, he has all the reason to be pissed off. All of it, dude. It's interesting. Yeah, definitely Herman Moore is a top 10 receiver. God, yes. In those days, he was top 5, dude. Herman Moore was almost impossible to cover. The size, the length, the hands, speed. He had good speed for his size. So he wasn't like a blazer, but he still could run. So, yeah. All right, we a shout out. A shout out. Oh, okay. Angie and Lauren, the best cashiers out there. Yes, they are always very nice. The cashiers do an awesome job. We just saw her come out here now to get some of the what is it? What's it called? Inventory that she was getting. So yes, Angie and Lauren. Yes, huge shout out to them. They are always fantastic here, and that's one of the things that they do here at Acura of Pembroke Pines. They have a beautiful service center. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber do an awesome job. And then they have a great place to relax, kick back. Again, tip for you when you're here, there's a small refrigerator on the far left corner. They have free water there for you. Okay, so while you're hanging out here, you can go to the fridge, grab a bottle of water, and relax. And then they have the cafeteria that they're there. The ladies are there, and they will assist you in anything you want. Un pastelito, you want something to drink, whatever it is, they've got it there at the cafeteria. So they make it nice and easy for you to relax while you wait for your oil to be changed or something to be fixed. So come on out here, check it out at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines, the finest dealership in the business. And of course, it's led by my man, Larry Schlossberg. We thank Anthony Chang, Matt Verderame, Joe Shad, Ira Winderman, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend. We thank all of you that tuned in. And of course, if you send in a super chat, thank you so much for the super chat. Of course, you can make a donation anytime you're listening to the show, day or night, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And remember, you can send a Bitcoin donation, which we always love that. We will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Oh, no, Friday. I'm sorry. Tomorrow we're off. Friday, 1 o'clock, we get you ready for Dolphins and those stinking New York Jets. And hopefully another win and improve to 8-3. See y'all on Friday. Y'all be good out there.